quickly, Forest Green in their home kit, the black and green zebra stripes. Southend in their blue tops and socks and their dark blue shorts. Referee today, David Rock, gets play underway. And Southend go back, and you can hear the roar around the new lawn for both sets of fans as immediately Chambers Purlian gets the ball roll under his feet. You can hear the cheers around us, and that's just a little victory for Forest Green to start with. Southend giving the ball away quite cheaply, but quickly gets dispossessed himself on the halfway line. And Southend go up the line. Ryan Innes being pressurised, and he heads the ball out for a throw, about 5 yards or so from the corner flag. Half wanted a free kick. Referee said no. Nathan Ralph looks like he might be going up for a long one. Only 30 seconds on the clock. Both teams just giving the ball away a bit cheaply in that opening 30 seconds. Ralph actually takes it short to Singh. Back to Ralph. Hussein goes into the box. The deep right-footed cross, and it goes off for a goal kick. Referees waving away half calls for the penalty shot from Southend. Not given. You hear a few boos around for the Forest Green contenders around us. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it was Gus Scott Morris who'd got in round the back and felt his path was blocked. The prolific fullback this season, and obviously he's got an eye for goal. He's got that licence to go forward in those sort of situations, but it's one of those that you don't often see penalties for that sort of blocking. It's the sort of thing that just goes on in the game, isn't it? As Joe Quigley nearly has his shirt ripped off of his back.
Well, you could see his belly, and it was just obviously ripped, but Long comes away with it down the right-hand side. Needs support. McAllister's behind him. He goes on the overlap in front of him, and Long was trying to thread the needle to him, and Southend get the ball back and build up through the defence. Going long, and Innes lets the ball bounce over to Ted Cam. The word on the pitch looking as fantastic as it has all season. They've laid a new pitch here at the new lawn in the summer, so much so that Forest had to play their first 5 games away from home after it settled down, and certainly looking good from it here in mid-May, and what will be the last fixture on the pitch this season. Quigley looks to go past his man, and he's in the penalty area, but the referee and assistant said he's given away a foul there. If anything, you could probably argue that Quigley was the victim, not the perpetrator, as Ben Goodliff is on the floor. The free kick's given Southend's way, and well, if anything, I think it could have gone Forest Green's.
Yeah, the first contact was Goodliff shoving Quigley in the back, and Quigley was very quick to spin his man. And bearing in mind, the referee has let a couple of things go so far. I think Joe Quigley can feel very, very aggrieved there, and the crowd letting the official on this side know.
2.5 minutes gone, still goalless here on Beans Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2. As Southend the ball on the edge of the penalty area, McCann manages to come away with it. Allegedly he got a hand on the ball in the process. Referee waved it away. Look to find McAllister on the right hand side. He's got Ralph who nips the ball off him. McCann heads it back to Quigley, holds the ball up well, sees Circum on the right hand side, drives on forward, edge of the penalty, puts the ball in towards the far post. Quigley with the header, goes wide. A goal for a goal kick, but the new lawn appreciate that. Good football from Forest Green.
And Joe Quigley is showing really well, isn't he? Making himself available, getting back into the penalty area. You've got a variety of players looking to get up in the attack, whether it's Carl McAllister, Sean Long or Liam Circum. All three have got into advanced positions down this right hand side. Fang Quigley with the cross, not the easiest to get any power of. He's nodded it past the far post, but 4 times already in this match Joe Quigley has shown, and that's a really good sign. Yeah,
Quigley has been bright so far. Hasn't scored a league game for Forest Green as Moore Taylor clears the ball up the line. Garrick managed to keep the ball on, looking for Quigley on the halfway line. Takes it right to McCann, and spreads to the right hand side, looking for McAllister, but scuffs the ball, and Southend play it back to the keeper Hayes. He's goal and 5 assists, and his work rate and ability has been really good for Forest Green the last few games. Big call for Cottrell to starting today. Both Cardwell and Deutsch are on the bench. Hayes' clearance goes to the right hand side. Wasn't expecting it there, and Forest Green get the ball back through Garrett, but he gets dispossessed, and Southend clear up the line. More Taylor heads to May. She needs to bring the ball down to Forest Green. Robson on the halfway line, puts it up in the air into the sunlight. Circum finds McAllister on the right hand side, drives on forward. He goes to the penalty box now. He's got an overlap option if he wants to. Got the ball on his left foot, now on his right. Can't shows too much of the ball. and can't get that shot away. Southend clear. McAllister gets the ball back to May, but gets dispossessed on the edge of the area. And Southend look to clear, have a chance to break now as they go on forward to Southend. A good chance for them to Hopper. Southend play it across goal, and it goes a bit too overhit. And Robson can't get a touch onto it. Still with Southend and Kendall. Back to Scott Morris. Puts the ball into the near post, and it goes across everyone and trickles off for a throw into Forest Green. We can take a breath because that was end to end.
Well, there's less than 5 minutes gone already, Billy, but it feels like there's about 10 minutes played. Such has been the amount of action. Both teams going at it right from the start. Really high pace, high tempo. Both sides trying to get on the front foot. Exactly what you want from a playoff game. They're not just trying to feel each other out in the first 20 minutes and playing it cagey. Both teams are trying to go for it. And, I think, actually, attack might be the best form of defence.
It seems to be at the moment. I'm not sure we can have 90 minutes of this intense pressure. May clears. There's no one in the Southend half for Forest Green. And Taylor plays out to the right-hand side. The sun just setting behind the Southend fans. The floodlights starting to take effect. Ryan Innes looks for options, goes long, looking for McAllister, who flicks on, looking for Quigley, but the Southend defence get there first. McAllister with the second ball, goes over the top, looking for Quigley again, has his shirt pulled, but he was offside when the ball was played to him, and the referee gives that indirect free kick. The Forest Green fans are going to keep an eye on that battle with Quigley. I'm sure the referee can't let it go all game. He set himself a stall now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and it's one of those that the striker only needs to get the decision once or twice in the game, and you can win a free kick, you can win a penalty in those threatening positions. And Joe Quigley, if decisions go against him early on, we'll think, well, I've got to get one eventually.
Circum half clears. Southend of the ball with the defence and Goodliff. Ralph goes past McAllister, looks to go to the right hand side. Mackay Forson spreads it to Scott Morris, searching ball into the 6-yard box, but it's easily picked up by Ted Can, goalkeeper on loan from West Brom.
Yeah, it was a good claim, good early touch for Ted Can to do something positive in the game. Scott Morris has gone down the flank and he's crossed it from a really wide area, but without getting to the byline, he's crossed it from quite deep, and Can's been able to come out and claim, and relatively easy one.
Not the best distribution from them though. Southend get the ball back. Good tackle from Long, gets the ball back for the home team. McAllister deep in his own half, being pressed by Southend. Plays the ball out looking for Quigley, but Southend get the ball back on the halfway line and find Hussein. Taylor goes down the flank, and it's over here going off for a goal kick, and the game's just starting to settle down a bit. 8 minutes gone, still goalless here in Gloucestershire. Ted Gann has the goal kick, and both teams went for that intense start.
Well, I think they're still going for it. I mean, that ball's gone off for a goal kick because Charlie McCann sprinted 20 yards to go and close somebody down and forced the error. The ball went forward, and Southend not afraid to overhit a pass. Forest Green a little bit less so. They're not overhitting their passes quite in the way that Southend are, but Can wants to go long on this goal kick.
He does go long to the right hand side, looking for McAllister, who gets bumped to the floor. Referee doesn't give a free kick despite the calls of the fans around us. McAllister is on the floor now. Might need a little bit of treatment, and the referee's seeing if he's okay. I think he will be. He's making a point that he thinks he was fouled there, as do the Forest Green fans who agree with him around us. Steve Cottrell shouting to our left hand side. Normally you can probably hear him in the National League when Forest can get around 2,000 fans here, but when you've got a pretty much sellout here and they're certainly chanting and shouting away, it's hard to hear him today. He's all mic'd up, serving the last of his 3-game suspension from the dugout. Garrett gets the ball back but can't find a teammate, and Southend play the ball back to Hayes, who's being charged down by McAllister, plays it calmly to Ralph on the left hand side, to Parolin. He gets a few boos, and Southend find Ralph again. Forstman just backing off a little bit. Hussein goes aerial to the right hand side, sees Scott Morris, who brings the ball down well, plays the ball towards the penalty area. Moore Taylor, the big head, out for a throw midway in their half. Scott Morris Thinking about going long. Looks like he will do because they've pushed up Ben Goodliff, the defender, with his height. Forest Green with every man in the box defending this long throw. Scott Morris winds up and actually goes short to Hussein, taking everyone off guard, but they're playing good football. Southend now, they go towards the far post and it goes over everyone. Is it kept on by Southend? It's not. Well, that's a Forest Green off guard a bit, as well as ourselves.
Yeah, I think it worked, didn't it? From both sides for Southend. They've obviously got that in their locker as well. And, you know, we've seen Ben Tozer do a similar sort of thing, haven't we, for Forest Green, when it's been the other way round, that everyone thinks, right, they've got the long throw. Well, actually, you can leave a little bit too much on with the short throwing, and that's one from Forest Green to be alert to. But so far, Rovers, 10 minutes gone, still goalless, but they've been bright, they've been energetic, and at the moment they don't look like a team that's gone 16 days without playing a game, which was obviously the fear coming into this game for them. It's why Steve Cottrell's used the gap as a mini pre-season, as he's called it.
No Ben Tozer today, not involved in the matchday squad at all for Forest Green. Quickly winning the flick on, finding McAllister on the right hand side, edge of the penalty area. He's got Garrick in the middle, McCann on the far post, goes up for a Forest Green corner though. First of the game, you can hear the new lawn up in the decibels a little bit more. Good work from Quigley again, just winning those flick-ons. Working hard for Forest Green, getting the nod up front today.
And I'll tell you what worked really well there. Jordan Garrick coming in off the left flank, made the central striker, gave Carl McAllister a target to aim for, bearing in mind Quigley was not quite leading the line, having got the flick on, and dropped deep to do it.
Corner for Forest Green, McAllister puts in towards the far post. Southend win the first header, goes high up in the air, and they win the second as well, but May puts the ball back into the penalty area. More Taylor brings the ball down, looks to turn and find an option. The option comes in the shape of Quigley, who plays it over the top for a goal kick, and I think that caught Mortaj goes off for a throw-in by the corner flag. That's how poor, that's how much the shot went wide. More Taylor couldn't believe his luck. Half of the Forest Green players were offside when the ball was played into the area. More Taylor wasn't, and thought, what do I do now? I'm a centre-back, what do I do? And he took it to maybe a touch too many.
Well, even worse, his first touch was perfect. So that's really what I do now. The first thing's easy, try and control it. Well, he did that beautifully, and no surprise, because he's a very good footballer, is Jordan Moore Taylor. But then suddenly, he was running out of options, got closed down, and the pass just went between McCann and Quigley, and either player would have been off balance, and Quigley couldn't get the angle on his turn, and hence why it went off for throw-in.
A few cheers as well, because the little girl in the crowd played the ball over the top of Brilliant for the throw. Southend gained about 20 yards from that throw, winning the second throw up the line. 12 minutes gone, still goalless. Now with the throw into the Forest Green half, Long gets a touch, but Houston wins the second ball unchallenged. A bit of head tennis going on, and Garrick looking to find McCann. Southend eventually bring the ball down and play it back to the defence of Scott Morris in his own half. Put the ball at the edge of the pitch in front of those travelling Southend fans. Forest Green turn a bit of a press on now, and the keeper comes to the edge of his box and powerfully plays it upfield, and that's gone end to end, but Ryan Innes heads the ball forward to May, who chests the ball down and plays it back to the keeper of Ted Can, in all pink kits this evening. Looking for Garrick, who chests the ball down for McCann. Little shove in the back, referee gives nothing, and May looks to find McCann. He gets dispossessed quite cheaply there, and Southend look to go forward, and they're doing so well with the Pia Forson. Referee gives the advantage, Circum a little tackle from behind. Forest going to got back in numbers, and Hussein slows play down and finds it to Ralph. Forest Green find their shape again. Looking a bit dangerous, that break from Southend. Hussein playing the ball back to the defender of Goodliff, to Ralph on the left hand side. See both Russell Milton and Dan Connor shouting instructions to the team in front of them. Steve Cottrell said away to our left hand side. Give him the Southend manager calmly on the edge of his technical area. Ralph with the throw back to Goodliff. Southend took a bit of possession the last minute or so. Still goalless. Harry Taylor to Hussein, who's always an option. Back to Hussein again. And Southend building up from the back. Forest Green Just giving them a bit of space. They've got space to James Brilliant on that left-hand side. But Long reads the ball well and gets the ball further upfield. Looking for Quigley. Again wins that flick on, but can't find a teammate, and Southend looks to build up from the back again. And there's space for Coker. Drives on forward. Goes Brilliant down the left-hand side. Looks gets past Long. Can't do, but Long plays out for the Southend's first corner on the quarter of an hour mark. Patient stuff there from Southend.
Yeah, it was a good spell of possession, and I think Joe Quigley was the last Rovers player to touch the ball. The ball played up to him, and I think he expected more contact to come in, and that's why the header wasn't quite the flick. He was expecting to take a challenge on that, and that's why probably it was a little bit misdirected, just overpowered in the header.
First corner for Southend, played powerfully towards the near post, but May heads the ball away. But up the pitch as well, important strong header from May, but he's going back with Southend. And Coker to Brilliant down the left-hand side. Strong challenge that from May. But Brilliant has the ball now into the penalty box, and Forest Green needs to clear. They haven't done yes yet, and a glancing header comes from Southend, and that was a good chance of them on the 6-yard box. Forest Green's got themselves in a bit of a tangle trying to clear that. Thankfully that header from Forest Green's perspective went wide. Well,
there was nothing rash in the box from Forest Green. They won the ball back, but actually almost surprised themselves by winning the ball back. Didn't quite clear it, gave it away, and yeah, a little bit of alertness from Southend, nearly fashioned a half chance. Worrying moment for Forest Green. Southend at the moment beginning to get on top a little bit.
Yeah, they are turning the press on as well. Forest Green, let's pass it around them. McAllister double marked and gets the ball taken off him, and good lift for Southend. Plays the ball back. May looks to get the ball back, but he can't get a touch onto it, and Scott Morris comes away. They're playing down the right hand side to Kendall. Kendall plays the ball back, and Forest needs to get a touch away. Shot from Southend, hits the post and goes looping up into the air. Perillion looks to get a header back across goal, and Circum manages to clear, but that was danger of Forest Green's. The crossbar was rattled, but here comes Southend again. Coker looking to get a shot away, play to the right hand side to Kendall. Kendall ball into the box, gets off for a corner, and Southend are on top here. And a great chance from Southend as that crossbar's rattled from that shot.
Yeah, it was very close to the angle of post and crossbar, wasn't it? Away to Ted Cairns' left-hand side, and I don't think the keeper was getting there. It wasn't one that he thought, yeah, that is going wide, I can definitely leave that. It was just hit with ferocious pace. Southend 2 corners in the space of 3 minutes, and yeah, I said they were getting on top. I think they now are on top.
Yeah, they're on top at the moment. 17 minutes gone, still goalless. The corner played in towards the far post. Forest Green need to get the first header away. They do through Innes. The second ball with Southend back into the penalty area. Half calls the offside flag to go. Well, it doesn't matter because Cairns got the ball in his feet. He's got Quigley on the right hand side. He wants to find him, but can't get it out quickly enough, and he apologises to Quigley.
Don't mind that. I think he's slowed things down there because it's been a little bit helter-skelter from Rovers. They'll build from the back now, at least, bowl the ball out to Ryan Innes before he looks to go long.
Quigley again getting his shirt pulled, can't find McAllister. Innes lets the ball bounce over him. The sun's going a bit low, it's going across the field, so it's not in the one of the eyes directly, apart from ourselves, as Innes looks fine. Quigley does well to bring the ball down, looks for McCann, who he finds. McCann looking for options. Southend have got numbers back. Circum's touch was heavy, and Southend come away with it. McAllister putting a strong challenge on a Pyer Foursome. He still has the ball at his feet, playing the ball to the right. A half chance Southend to break, but Forest Green do well again to get back in numbers, but Southend at the moment are nullifying anything that Forest Green have got going forward. Southend down the right hand side. Moore Taylor plays the ball off for a safety first throw in midway in the Forest Green half.
Yeah, couldn't get a lot of distance on that clearance, Jordan Moore Taylor, and all that's come about from a really strong challenge by Nathan Ralph. Studs up a little bit, but he wasn't particularly close to any opponent, so it's safe from that perspective, isn't it? And Southend now do have another opportunity for a long throw.
Scott Morris indicates he wants to go long, has the short option if he needs, but he does go short and gets the ball back, looking to get past Jordan Garrick. Jordan Garrett gets a challenge in and looks to clear, and he plays it all back to Robson. He clears up the line. Southend look to play the ball forward. A few oohs then because McAllister always nipped the ball off the defence. Innes plays the ball upfield. Now watching to Forest Green, look a little bit disjointed.
Well, the truth is they're being forced back, so they haven't got anyone on halfway when they clear it.
Quickly wins the ball back for the home team though. He's looking for McAllister. He has to do that in his own half. Garrick to May. Looks to unleash Robson down the left-hand side. Can Robson win the foot battle? He can't, as Harry Taylor clears the ball off for a Forest Green throw.
That's better though, isn't it? It's the first time we've seen Jamie Robson go marauding down that left-hand side. We've seen Sean Long do it down this near side, but not on the far side, Robson.
The ball's gone into the sheep field behind the West Terrace where the Southend supporters are stood. Forest Green have the throw. No toes involved in the matchday squad at all for any long throws. Tom Knowles, another long throws on the bench. They play it short to Garrick, back to Robson. Looping ball into the box. Can he find Circum? He can, but his header goes over the crossbar for a goal kick. And he gets the warm applause. Of 20 minutes gone here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2. It's Forest Green Rovers 0, Southend United 0. Keep half an eye on the other football game tonight. That'll be in the Europa League final between Man United and Tottenham.
Still goalless.
Is that on BBC Radio 5 Live?
Are they our sister station tonight? I think they are, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Thank you for joining us, as well as the loyal listeners on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. As Southend just on top at the moment. McCann can't clear, and he gives away a free kick. It's only the second free kick that I think the referee's given, both against Forest Green. Southend think about taking it quickly. Garrick's just stopping and doing so. It's not shootable, this free kick. It's about 45 yards away from goal, to the not far, probably 10 yards in from the edge of the pitch, but a chance to put the ball in the area. The big men for Southend are trotting forward.
I'll tell you what, Gus Scott Morris as well tried a little run down the right hand side and wasn't found, and just saw him sort of fling his head back in frustration for Southend as well. Very alert. Southend
with the free kick, played powerfully into the 6-yard box. Ryan Innes wins the first header. McCann with the second, and McAllister heads the ball forward, and for Garrick, McCann's continuing his run forward, but Garrick can't get the ball away. And actually does have the ball at his feet. Spread through to McAllister, who's onside, linesman! And the offside flag is raised. We are in a perfect position for that. And I'm pretty sure he was onside.
I thought he was off when the ball was played, but by the time it got back to him, Southend's defence had got level, and I can see why the fans are angry. I thought he was offside when the ball was played, but it was tight.
The fans are around us don't agree, but
and they're more in line than I am, actually.
They've got their Forest Green tinted glasses on. Circum, they're to the centre circle. Gets his ball forward, intercepted, and Southend get the ball back. Well, if he was onside McAllister, he would have been through on goal.
I think as well, some of the frustration is Jordan Garrick had won about 5 tackles to keep possession of the ball and then to be able to play the through ball, and then the moment that you do, you're offside.
Quickly into the penalty area, looks up for options. He's got McCann and McAllister, finds McAllister in the penalty area, turns, shoots, goes wide for a goal kick. Gets the applause of the fans around us. That just brings up the atmosphere a little bit more. Midway in the first half, 22 and a half minutes gone, still Forest Green 0, Southend 0.
Rovers have had a couple of headers over the bar, haven't they? But they feel like that's their first shot at goal. Not on target as yet, but again, encouraging. And, you know, it shows Southend are vulnerable as well. Forest Green had that little bit of a shaky spell 5 minutes ago. Well, Forest Green now giving the assistant referee on this near side a little bit of stick, which I think Steve Cottrell will appreciate, the fans being involved, playing their part.
Well, they certainly are today, all around the ground. 3 sides of Forest Green, the one of Southend as well, as Morte sees the ball go over the top of him, and Forest Green looked to usher the ball out for a goal kick, but the last touch came from Robson, and it actually goes off for a Southend corner. Their third, and that was come out of nothing, really.
Yeah, long ball back to front, allowed to bounce, isn't it? And that's the thing that does it. You know, it's one of the first things you're taught as a schoolboy centre-half or defender, don't let the ball bounce. And of course they water the pitch and it's run on a pace.
Southend corner, their third. Played looping towards the far post. Ryan Innes wins the first header yet again.
Big header, wasn't it?
Big important header, but Southend do get the ball back. Another ball powerfully hitting towards the edge of the penalty area. Circum sees the ball come off him for a throw to Forest Green, actually. Southend thought it might have gone Circum last, came off the boot of a Southend player. Seacockshall away to left hand side. I'm sure we'll have an eye on that offside decision. TV cameras here today. Robson with the throw up the line. Finds Quigley deep in his own half. Quigley can't find anyone, and Southend get the ball back and they can just spread it to the left hand side through Ralph, who's being marshalled by McAllister. Goes back into his own half through Peridian. A few oohs there as Circum almost took the ball off him, but Southend still have possession. Searching ball to the right hand side, which Robson intercepts. Finds Garrick. Robson continues the overlapping run. Garrick needs the man on show. He's got a man from behind, doesn't get it. And gets dispossessed. Everyone saw that was coming, apart from Jordan Garrick, and Southend get the ball back. They go forward in numbers. Approaching the final third. Ball first time played into the box. More Taylor clears. Southend bring the ball down though through Scott Morris, and Hussein looks for options. Plays it to Ralph on the left. Still good 35 yards away from goal. Plays it down the wing. Back to Ralph. Forward to Peridian. Circum puts a challenge in. Goes off for a Forest Green throw. No, it doesn't. Southend throw that way. Long just might have tapped it off last in it whilst they were both going for the ball.
Yeah, I think Circum got a touch on the ground as well. Also thought it was a foul on Jordan Garrick beforehand. We could see the challenge coming, but yeah, Garrick went to ground before the Southend player got the ball. That's a foul to me.
Here come Southend again. On the left hand side through Hussein. The linesman's getting a few shouts of he was onside. I wonder if some of the Forest Green fans might have had a look back at some of the footage. As Southend maintain possession on the halfway line. McCann leaving something in there. I don't think he needed to do that. He walked down Hussein. But Hussein's touch was heavy as he went past him, but McCann left a bit of something in. Hussein went to the floor for a pretty obvious and simple free kick. What Southend have about 5 yards or so in the Forest Green half. Brilliant down the left through to Ralph. Back to Hussein. Forest Green just backing off. Southend had the ball in the Forest Green area. Southend just going back to the defence, looking for Ralph. He plays the ball down the wing. And this goes safety first, heading off for a throw-in Southend's way, which Ralph is over. Again, might think about going long. 27 minutes gone, still goalless here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2. Ralph with the throw. Static at the moment, not too many options in front of him. Eventually plays it to the edge of the area. Also handballs of Southend bring the ball down, but Forest Green come away with this. Circum dispossessed again. Not playing as we've seen Circum playing as well as he has done recently. And Southend through a pile of force and down the right. Quickly played ball towards the far post. Overhit, and Peridian can't keep the ball on and goes off for a goal kick. A few warning shots come from Southend still.
Yeah, I mean, initially shouts for handball. I thought he caught it, frankly. And then Circum with a bouncing ball, dispossessed. And Forest Green were flying into tackles in midfield. Adam May just a couple of times has flown out of position, which is a little bit of a worry for me, because if Southend get in behind him, then Forest Green are vulnerable. And Jamie Robson came out of left back as well, and yeah, Southend on that opportunity can get in behind Forest Green, but Rovers not winning enough possession in the middle of the park at the moment.
Quickly gets dispossessed. Southend again come away with it. They get the line shares possession here. Through Peridian down the left, looking to get past Long as he goes into the penalty area. Chips the ball in 6-yard box. Header from Southend goes wide, and that was a decent chance again from the visitors, as Tom Hopper's header just goes wide of Ted Cann's left-hand post. Not
a lot on it in terms of power, and I think Cann was happy to see it go past. He knew it was going past, but Noor Hussein is beginning to boss this game in the centre of the park for Southend. It really just has got it by the scruff of the neck at the moment, and whether Forest Green need to do something a little bit different to stop him getting on the ball as much, we'll wait and see.
May to McAllister, back to Long, who wins off a throw in his own half, and the assistant referee gets a few cheers as he gives the Forest Green hand the throwing decision. Forest Green trying to play a ball cross field. There's no one in particular, and it goes off for a Southend throw in front of those travelling supporters.
Yeah, McAllister was trying to play the big crossfield ball, and Jordan Garrick had cut inside, which means McAllister was trying to play it blind. And like a few things at the moment, not quite working for Forest Green.
No, it's the
I think that's pressure that Southend are putting on them, isn't it?
The goalkeeper is down for Southend, Nick Hayes. Out of nowhere, and I don't think it's a time-wasting, let's stop the momentum sort of issue that you see with goalkeepers when sometimes there's a few questions when they go down.
Yeah.
But Southend wouldn't want to disrupt this game at the moment. I think they probably could say they're on top. He's getting some treatment, sat up. I can't think of an incident where he would have exerted himself.
No, treatment's been over pretty quickly, but it was his right ankle which seemed to be just receiving a little bit of a check. Very strange though.
In the cricket, England are starting their reply. The West Indies women got 146 with 7 out of 20 overs. England 2 without loss after an over. Commentary on that on 5 Sports Extra. And in the other football game, maybe a little bit more important than the one today, unless you're a Forest Green or Southend fan.
Spurs 0, Manchester United 0, 15 minutes gone in Bilbao. Commentary
on that on 5 Live. Here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2. It's Forest Green Rovers 0, Southend 0. It's Long has the ball just outside his own penalty area. Innes with a heavy touch and finds McAllister well, but suddenly Southend turn a bit of a press on, and Forest Green struggling to get out of their half. Long goes long, can't find Quigley. Forest Green win themselves a throw. Well, they don't actually. It goes off Circum last, and again the boos go around. I thought it should have been a Forest Green's throw, but the referee...
Well, the assistant flagged it initially for Forest Green, and then the referee overruled him.
The fourth official's there as well, who will have a decent view. Thrown from Southend down the line through Ralph. Long with the header, goes straight back to Ralph. Forest Green's a bit camped in at the moment. Good lift. Goes back to his keeper, Nick Hayes. Let's see how he is on the ball. Takes a touch with his right foot and goes long. Doesn't seem to be struggling. Circum goes forward. Quickly, he's 20 yards offside. He couldn't get the ball anyway. Prior Forson on the right. On the halfway line. Back into his own half. Through Taylor. Who goes back to his keeper. Quickly charging him down. And plays it long. Again, doesn't seem to be struggling. As Innes has committed himself a long way from the defensive line to get a touch onto it. A few dog legs for Forest Green. McGarrick has it for Forest Green. Gets the ball away. Can't find Robson, and Robson gives away a free kick there in front of the Southend fans. McGarrick's not having has been as impactful as you have seen Forest Green this season, or indeed the last few seasons he's been with the Rovers.
No, he's struggling, as are quite a few Forest Green creative players at the moment. Quigley's getting his share of possession, but he's having to drop deep to do so, and McAllister and Garrick are struggling to link up a little bit. May's charging into a few challenges in midfield.
As the ball gets played into the Forest Green area, Forest Green managed to clear. McAllister plays it up and under almost to himself and keep the ball on, and he can't. It goes off for a Southend throw.
Yeah, just sliced it slightly when he struck it downfield.
There's applause for the linesman who gives the throw a correct decision. Forest Green ironically cheering him for it. Ralph with the throw on the halfway line. 33 minutes gone, still goalless. I think Forest Green are still a fair bit away from the halfway point. Forest Green probably happier at half time 0-0 than Southend, who have hit the crossbar. Well, a few chances as well, a few glancing headers. Ralph goes past Circum, gives away a pretty obvious cheap free kick there. Circum's not with the best of games today
so far, but yeah, it's one of those that he's caught him as he's just tried to run past and collect the ball, and Nathan Ralph has gone down. He's up on his feet and he's hobbling away.
Another free kick for Southend. They're going to punish Forest Green by giving away these cheap free kicks quite frequently. This one only a couple of yards from the edge of the pitch, midway in the Forest Green half. Southend push men forward, Forest Green with every man back. Referee blows his whistle for play to start. Whipped in towards the near post. Can watches it go over this crossbar and it lands on the goal netting. He had it covered and he looked pretty confident with it.
Yeah, when you see those curling towards the back post, you begin then to wonder, you sort of think, okay, is this dangerous? No. Ted Can, the coolest man in the hills above Nailsworth this evening at that moment in time.
Goal kick Forest Green. Can in front of the chanting South stand, looking to find Quigley, if he can't. Now he picks up the second ball, gets dispossessed quite quickly. Moore Taylor gets a boot on and plays the ball forward. It goes off for a Southend throw, 10 yards up or so from the corner flag, quite deep in the Southend half, and a rare venture for Forest Green into that Southend half in the last 10 minutes or so.
Well, an opportunity for Rovers maybe to box Southend in a little bit, just put them under a bit of pressure, which we've not seen too much of, have we? Southend have been able to get themselves out of trouble very easily.
Throw up the line. Circa with the header. Again, can't find a teammate. Bit of head tennis going on. Moore Taylor brings the ball down. McCann looks for an option on the left. He can't find May, and it goes straight off for a throw in to the delight of the Southend fans. And Southend spread the ball to Ralph on the left-hand side, being pressurised by McAllister, but finds the unmarked Coker in front of him. Ralph on the left with the tap forward to Perillion. Back to Ralph. Ralph with the searching ball in towards the far post. Forest Green allow it to go for a throw in, but you've got to be careful of Hopper there. There seems to be a bit of a clash of heads. The player down for Forest Green. Yeah,
I think it's Jamie Robson who's just kind of been caught. Hopper basically had his eye on the ball and was just flinging everything at the ball and lost track of where he was and where Robson was, and has just clattered into Robson. Anywhere else and the ball's not going out of play, you get a free kick there. 37th minute. I don't think Forest Green have still had a free kick yet in this game, have they, Billy?
No, I don't think they have actually. No, they're giving away a few cheap ones.
Yeah.
Robson doesn't get any treatment and he's immediately told to take the throw in. Deep in his own half. Southender keeper wasn't cramped in there. Still goalless. As Scott Morris brings the ball down well, plays the ball further into the Forest Green half, and Southend bring the ball down. There's space for Ralph on the left hand side, and it can be found, but it goes all the way back to the keeper Hayes, who takes a touch and quickly runs toward Hussein, who spreads it to the left hand side. Finds Goodliff. Plays the ball aerially. Robson allows the ball to bounce, and Moore Taylor gets a touch onto it, and it goes off for a throw. It does. Robson can't bring the ball down, and it goes off for a Southend throw in dangerous territory.
Well, all that came about because Charlie Kendall manoeuvred Jamie Robson into an area where he couldn't get to the ball, had to leave it, and then Rovers were on the back foot and under pressure once again.
Throw into Southend. Again, Scott Morris, it looks like he's giving up for a long one. He's done this twice before, but I think he's actually going to play it long. Winding himself up. Loops it towards the penalty area. First header won by Jamie Robson. Southend get a second bite of the cherry as far as can have every man back, and they play it down the wing to the right hand side. Robson puts a challenge in and wins up a free kick. And you can hear the Forest Green's reaction for the first free kick given of the day by David Rock after 38 minutes.
Ironic cheers, but you can see or hear how involved this New Lawn crowd is here this evening, and yeah, that's what Forest Green need. That's what Steve Cottrell's been calling for, not just for tonight but for all season as well. And I guess this is one of the easier games as a fan to get yourself up for. The weather's nice, either side is one win away from Wembley, so is one of those that you've got to be up for, but good signs nonetheless.
Quigley gets dragged to the floor and eventually does a free kick. The referee's given 2 free kicks in 20 seconds of Forest Green. This one far more threatening. Pardon?
Like buses.
Oh, exactly, yes. Especially here in rural Gloucestershire, you don't get many. But there's been 2 for Forest Green. And this is a dangerous one for Southend to defend.
And this was the sort of thing I was on about, Billy, that Joe Quigley, he's had a few go against him, he's had a few waved away, but when you do get one, it's in a really threatening position. Rovers can put a ball into the box. Ryan Innes and Jordan Moore-Taylor are on the edge of the 18-yard box, just having a little chat about where they're going to run to.
Free kick to Forest Green. McAllister and May over it. Innes and Moore-Taylor up for it. It's giving McAllister playing it. Looking for Garrick on the far post, who can't get a touch onto it. It trickles off for a goal kick. I'm not sure it's deliberate or not to go beyond the far post, but Garrick couldn't control it. But he got away from his man.
Well, Garrick was actually left free at the back post, but all the focus was on Ryan Innes, who, you know, a little bit like Hopper a couple of moments ago, was just hurling himself at it, trying to get absolutely anything on it and hope that it would go in the back of the net. And Garrick was kind of the insurance bet around the back, but with all that was going on behind him, in front of him, just couldn't quite gamble enough to get on the end of it and round the back.
4.5 minutes to go to the 45s up, maybe a couple of minutes of injury time as well. Hayes, the goalkeeper for Southend, need a bit of treatment. May gets out jumped there, but Sirkin wins the second ball. Southend again put the pressure on the Forest Green defence, and Robson gets half a touch onto it, but Southend looks to come away with it for the Playa Forson. But his ball across goal, couldn't find a teammate, and McAllister puts the press on, but Southend pass the ball away from them, but McCann looks to get another ball back, and he does through to Long, and that's got the home fans cheering. May back to Moore-Taylor. To Robson on the left-hand side. As he gets hacked down late in front of the assistant referee, and the referee's going to brandish a card here for Southend. He puts his hand, player puts his hand up to apologise. And I think it might be Kendall there on the far side.
Yeah, I think it's Charlie Kendall, who's been largely playing out on the right-hand side. Yeah, it is. And he slid in on Jamie Robson after Robson's played the ball. And an easy decision for a book in there.
The New Lawns are rocking yet again. Long and McAllister have come to talk to Dan Connor, getting some instructions from him. Remind yourselves that Steve Cottrell banned from the dugout today. He's away to left-hand side of the director's box.
Yeah, it's been a tag team between Dan Connor and Russ Milton in the technical area for Forest Green as the free kick's taken, and they've swapped ends of that technical area a couple of times as well, of who will be closest to the fourth official.
May looks for McAllister, brings the ball down, finding McCann, who goes past his man at the edge of the box, leads options, and he finds Sirkin on the D with his shot, takes the ricochet and goes to the hand of Hayes. So it's his first shot on target probably. Southend did well to get a touch onto it.
Yeah, it was brighter, wasn't it? There was the option of the overlap, but McCann was basically forced to get his head down and got the shout from Liam Sirkin, his midfield mate. Sirkin on his left foot, not his strongest of feet, but wow, what a kick from Hayes.
End to end. It goes off for a goal kick, but
one bounce.
Wow. Can had it covered, but it could have been a shot on target.
Is that a shot off target?
Well, I doubt he was going for goal, was Hayes, but it was a huge kick on from him. No wind here at the New Lawn, which is a rarity.
Yeah, there was earlier. I had visions of it being like when we went to Roots Hall in November, Billy, because that was windy.
Yeah, that was one of the two 2-2s between these two teams this season. We're so much windy, but had a bit of tarpaulin going off the main stand and had to be held down by one of the members of the Southend board.
Yeah, I think it was the chairman, wasn't it? He got up there with a hammer and nailed it down.
Sirkin looks to find May, but the press has worked for Southend. They get the ball back through Ralph, who finds himself in the Forest Green half. Good pack here from Perillion. McAllister gets the ball back well, crosses the halfway line. Forest going to have a chance to half break. Looks for Quigley on the right. He's got McCann in the penalty area. Goes himself as Quigley, a few step overs onto his left foot. Plays it back to May, thinks about shooting, pulls out of it though, and looks to ride long down the right hand side, and that's overhit, and that's going to be marshalled out for a throw-in. Actually comes off long last for throw-in to Southend. But we've seen May score a couple of those this season on the edge of the D of the penalty area and just didn't go for the shot.
Yeah, I think it was falling on his left foot, but well won by McAllister initially. I thought it was a free kick to Southend. The Southend benched it as well, and they're still protesting now to the fourth official. But Rovers, having got that decision or lack of decision go their way, very nearly took full advantage. McAllister found Quigley, who's been a willing workhorse, hasn't he, today?
Long finds McAllister to Circum. McCann edge of the area, goes to Quigley, who's offside as the ball gets played across goal. And we were in a less better position for that, but I think that looked a bit more offside then, but the fans don't agree behind the assistant referee. And the referee's having a word with something here, and is it going to be a free kick Forest Green's way? It is. The referee played advantage, and it's going to be a dangerous free kick for Forest Green. It's the yard or so on the top of the penalty area. Well,
there was no advantage coming because the ball from McCann was to Quigley, who was immediately flagged offside, so the referee blew pretty quickly for the foul by Noor Hussein on Charlie McCann, and form official signals minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time. Free kick inside right, it's perfectly primed for Carl McAllister.
We're in that last minute. May, McCann and McAllister all over this. It's quite a long way to Nick Hayes' left-hand side, the Southend goalkeeper.
Yeah, inside right channel, you'd normally think the left foot of Carl McAllister in this situation, unless McCann wanted to bend one around the wall and go for the near post.
We've had 30 seconds there, a minute already.
And no play, so we can add this on.
Not a bad time to score, if Forest Green could do something with his free kick. McAllister and May still in conversation. I don't think May doesn't look happy that he's been pushed away from this. There's McCann and McAllister over it. Referee blows his whistle. It's going to be McCann, goes into the wall. Second by the Che Gomes on McCann, who plays it into the penalty area. McAllister comes away with it, puts the searching ball in on his left foot. Moore Taylor can't get the header away. Circum with a loose ball, doesn't have time to play it. Referee did add on that extra time, and the extra time blows the half-time whistle. Where it's Forest Green 0, Southend 0, and I'd probably say that Forest Green probably maybe happier with that scoreline than Southend, because Southend have had some pretty good chances. They've hit the post, had some glancing headers as well. Forest Green haven't had too many chances, and I think this might be a bit of a Steve Cottrell half-time team talk.
Yeah, Southend have certainly come closest, haven't they? They've out-punched Forest Green in terms of corners, which I just think is always a decent indicator of pressure and opportunities. Southend have had 3 compared to Forest Green's 1. Rovers haven't had anything on target. Having said that, Ted Cann hasn't had too much to do apart from collect a couple of crosses, so plenty of pressure, plenty of defending for both teams to have to do, but goalless feels about right. Everything's still to play for in the second half. Forest Green with a South stand to attack in that second half coming up, and yeah, it's one of those, as you say, I think it needs a Steve Cottrell team talk.
Yeah, I think Forest Green are happy with it only maybe being goalless, and you look at the scoreline yesterday when York went into half-time being 1-0 down. Forest Green haven't had that happen to them today, and they're well and truly in this game. It is only goalless, you're right, they've got the momentum behind them as the floodlights are starting to take effect, as the sun just goes to the last little half circle going away behind the Cotswolds behind us. So it's going to be a nervy and entertaining second half, and maybe a bit more football after that. Half-time at the New Lawn. It's Forest Green Rovers 0, Southend United 0.
Billy, Paul, as the away team though, you think Southend will be the happier at half-time. Really, they've hit the post as well, as you said, the most corners. They seem to have settled quicker.
They are, but they'll probably be maybe not as happy because it is only 0-0. They probably maybe think that they actually deserve to be a goal up. They've had the possession, they've had those corners, they've had their chances, they've hit the crossbar as well. So yes, they've probably been in charge of the first half, but they haven't had a goal from it. So I think they're very much in this game, and Forest Green looks a bit disjointed at times, and Southend are really keeping Forest Green in their own half and struggling to get out of it as well. So Southend, probably will be happier the way they're playing in the first half. Just the only disappointing thing from the visitors is they haven't got the goal for it.
And this has been the problem for Forest Green Rovers throughout the season, really, is goals. Where is that goal going to come from Forest Green Rovers? What can Steve Cottrell do to try and unpick this Southend defence?
Well, I don't think this has been similar to a lot of the other games that we've seen this season, Steve, where Rovers have struggled to score. Today, they've actually been bossed by Southend. I think we can say that Southend have had the lion's share of possession. Well, normally Forest Green have had the lion's share of possession and then struggled to be clinical or struggled to turn possession into volume of chances and quality chances because teams have sat back and have been prepared to defend deep, and Southend haven't done that today. Southend have been very front foot, they've been very attacking. So first thing Rovers need to do is get possession, get some territory, and when you've got that, then you can start fashioning some chances, and then you can sort of think about goals. Forest Green have looked dangerous when they've been able to get the ball in the Southend half and towards the Southend goal. There just hasn't been enough of that, and they've had to do an awful lot of defending this afternoon. That's this evening. That's very different though from many of the games we've seen this season where Forest Green have been on top but then failed to hammer home the advantage.
And if they want to get that advantage in midfield, what options are there on the bench?
Well, you look at Harvey Bunker, Teddy Jenks as well. There's maybe not a like for a like in terms of the players like McCann or Circum.
I think Manny Osadebe.
Yeah,
I think his physical presence, his energy. He's a big bloke as well. He's not going to get out battled too many times. And I think Manny Osadebe, it could be his sort of game where you look to battle against Southend if you need to match them. Alternatively, if you want that contrast of styles, well, keep Charlie McCann and Liam Circum on, because those two are very talented footballers, and as Southend tire if they do, then maybe Rovers can pass around and through them.
Thank you very much for now. It's going to be a very interesting second half. It might be a very late night tonight. There's got to be a winner. These sides, remember, have played twice before in the National League season. Both games ended in 2-2 draws. At half-time, no goals this time. It's been a bit nervy at times, and as we said there, possession-wise, certainly Southend will be the happiest. Second half commentary on the way here with BBC Radio Gloucestershire together tonight with our colleagues at 5 Sports Extra 2.
Match night.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
On BBC iPlayer.
Over 66 million years ago, our world was ruled by dinosaurs. Today, we can tell their stories, and they can walk again. Get up close to prehistoric giants and the occasional not-so-giant.
An epic new series.
Perhaps the most iconic animals ever to have lived.
Walking with Dinosaurs. Starts Sunday on BBC iPlayer.
Just coming up to 23 minutes to 9, Europa League final, kick-off at 8 o'clock, of course, for this one. It's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 0. That's the latest scoreline from Bilbao. Let's get you up to date with some of the other sporting news today. And let's go to the world of cricket, because England's men are continuing their preparations for the start of the first test against Zimbabwe, which begins tomorrow at Trent Bridge. England also have a home series against India this summer, of course, followed by the Ashes series in Australia. Captain Ben Stokes, who's recovered from a hamstring injury which required surgery, has been speaking to our senior cricket commentator, Jonathan Agnew.
It's lovely to see you, and this is the start of a really exciting time for English cricket.
Yes, it's been a long one. Obviously our last test match was in December, so being here now sort of at the back end of May, everyone's really excited to get going again, and we're looking forward to the summer eventually getting going.
Yeah, I mean, you must be particularly the operation, the rehab, and so a lot of hard work done there.
Yeah, lots. So we had the operation early January, and been a really long rehab period, but it's been good. I'm fit, ready to go, and just absolutely buzzing to get out there and lead the team out in the field tomorrow.
And bowling, does a long run, bending it back?
Yeah, bowling's gone really well. Obviously rehab plans are all about like the gym work and stuff like that, but then when you start implementing cricket, you gotta be mindful and build everything back up. As you know, the strain on the body that bowling gives to you, it's not something that you can just get straight back into, so there was a long period of time of building that all back up, and We had a good training camp last week in Loughborough where sort of ramped it up to, my highest intensity, and then just continued from there. So everything's feeling good.
Yeah. Are you setting yourself a limit? I mean, can knowing you, can you set yourself a limit of what you're going to do to start with, or not going to do? No,
definitely. Obviously, in the past, been pretty. I'll just bowl when I need to bowl. But obviously, this time round, with what we've got coming up, even I think throughout the summer, just being careful and mindful of the workload that I'm doing, because me and Baz have had good chats around this in the time off we've had. Obviously, I play another role when I'm not bowling, so when I'm not taking on too much load with the ball, obviously need to think a lot about captaincy and stuff like that. So we've had good chats around that, and obviously if I'm out on the field, it's better than not being on the field.
Yeah. How do you look ahead at this year then, Ben? These I know the Test match here obviously, but India and Australia. I mean, do you look at the sort of the big picture of all of that, or are you breaking it down into bits? There is, obviously, you have got to think about what we've got coming up, and it's impossible to not. But one thing that I've got to do, and think we've got to do as a team, and we spoke about this, is focusing what we need to do in the day, and not thinking too far ahead, if that makes sense. We obviously know what we've got coming up. We've got this Test match against Zimbabwe, we've got India, then we've got Australia. But what we want to do as a team is probably more important than what we've got coming up. We want to, win everything that we've got coming up in the next 2, 3, 4 years. But making sure we're focusing on the task at hand without looking too far ahead with the big things we've got coming up is something that we're really focusing on the team and making sure we stay strong to that. Yeah, I mean the India series is clearly obviously extremely important, isn't it? And will how that goes depend sort of the mood of you setting off to Australia, if you like? Again, that's way too far ahead. We'll deal with this challenge of Zimbabwe, and then we'll deal with the challenges of the India series when that comes. Yeah. A lot of competition for places. Can you explain the Jacob Bethel situation? There he's at number 3. Seemed to make a very, very good start in New Zealand. An opportunity here, but he's playing in the IPL. Was that a difficult thing to manage? No, not really. I think it's something that we've sort of had to deal with as a whole ECB, I think, with the IPL and the start of our summer starting, where we've got players over in the IPL fulfilling their commitments, but then also the international. And then obviously with the break the IPL had, there was that, what's going to happen? But we picked the squad for Zimbabwe under the impression where Beth was going to be away, so there wasn't too much of an issue for us. And then obviously he's got some white ball stuff coming up as well, and then who knows what's going to happen in the summer going forward. Yeah. Now I guess this thinking is an opportunity for a youngster to nail down a difficult position, and to have played here might have been good for him. Yeah, look, I think you look at what Beth did in the winter for us. You talk about nailing down a position. I think Beth's done himself the world of good by the performances he put in there with being part of our plans going forward. So but it's great to have Rui around this week. Obviously his start to his first class career has been absolutely phenomenal. I think 10 first class hundreds at the age of 21 is something to be very, very proud of, but also proves that we've got some incredible talent to hopefully be able to choose from, and when they get given the opportunity in the future, that we've got some good players who are coming through. Yeah. I was interested in what Brendan McCullum said yesterday about public statements and reconnecting with the public. What do you think he meant by that? Yeah, look, I think we've been pretty open and honest with each other. We've gone about things in a certain way with the language that me and Baz have used over the last 2.5 years. And, sometimes obviously it can be taken out of context from what we say up in the dressing room for the meanings that we mean by it to then get delivered in situations like this. And now we've sort of pulled that up and we've explained sort of the bigger picture of sometimes the things that we say. It's just lads being a bit more mindful about how they go in and speak about certain situations, or the way in which they respond to certain questions. So yeah, everyone's pretty much understood that. And we've always been a team who want to be celebrated by the supporters and the public, but can totally understand in the past where maybe a few comments have been taken out of context, which can come across in the wrong way, even though it's not meant that whatsoever. Yeah, I mean they were said, but that's not a reflection of what you were saying to each other in the dressing room. It sounds as if what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot more meaning to some of the sort of the smaller things that we try and say at the end of series, at the end of days, or how we deliver messages. A lot to do with it is what we thought that team needed to hear, what we thought that the dressing room needed to hear and individuals needed to hear to go out there in the pressures of international cricket without adding pressure to what that already gives to players when they walk out there. And last one, Ben, the mindset. How are you going to play? How are you going to approach these? And I'm going 10 tests here, or 11 tests in fact. I'm looking at the bigger picture. Are you going to play in the same way? Is it going to be the same, or is it going to be a slightly toned down, or can I use the word common sense sometimes, approach to the way it's played? It's not, well, I mean, you mentioned the last test match being in Islamabad. I mean, the whole thing fell in a heap there, didn't it? Sri Lanka at the Oval. Are you going to try and avoid that style of play while still being positive?
Yeah, the word, the word ruthless, I've said I'm not a big fan of it. The word that I do love about what I've tried to install in this team going forward is dominate. And whatever situation that we find ourselves in a game, that's the word that I want to be at the front of our head about how we want to take the game on, or how we need to play. There's obviously times where in the past when we're so good at putting teams and oppositions under pressure, when everything's in our favour, when everything's going well, one thing that we have been pretty open and honest about each other is being smarter in the moment when potentially the opposition is going through a phase of play, or where they are on top. How are we going to be able to wrestle that momentum back towards us to then allow us to use our super strength as a team, which is to pile the pressure back on. We've said we've been guilty in the past as a team where we've maybe been a little bit too stubborn and a bit too stuck in our ways, which has actually probably taken us further away from the result that we want. Whereas now we are incredibly clear on how we want to go out there and play first and foremost, but now we've got this understanding as a collective that it's not always going to be in our favour. There is going to be some times where we do need to reassess and understand maybe we need to wrestle momentum back towards us. And these guys are all incredibly gifted cricketers. They've all got incredibly gifted cricket brains. We all know those moments when we need to do that. So for us, it's about understanding that and really taking that and making that a precious, part of our play. Because everyone knows that when things are going well for us as a team, we're an incredibly hard team to stop. But we know it doesn't always go that way. That word dominant again, that's where it comes in.
And it sounds, while you're doing your weights and all rehab, that you've been doing quite a bit of thinking and reflecting, have you?
Well, look, there's always going to be, being in this job, this is my, fourth, third?
Feels like it.
It does, doesn't it? For someone like myself to not want constantly lads to give themselves the best chance of improving, give themselves the best chance of being the best player they possibly can be, that's what I always ask myself, is what do I need to do? And there's also that team side of it where I don't ever want to look back on my time as England captain and think I could have done more to get this team where I think we can get to. And there's no doubt in my mind that we can be the best test team in the world. So from here onwards, it's about trying to do that. And the way that you do that is go out there and win games of test cricket.
England cricket captain with our senior cricket commentator Jonathan Agnew. Just approaching half-time in Europa League final, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 0. A Luke Shaw own goal off his arm from Brennan Johnson's pressure has given Spurs the lead going into the break. The break is over at the New Lawn. It is the playoff semi-final of the National League. Oldham Athletic awaiting the final at half-time. It's Forest Green Rovers 0, Southend 0. There must be a winner. Let's rejoin your commentary team of Paul Furley and Billy Hunt.
Thank you much, Steve. As we prepare for ourselves for at least another 45 minutes of football. Ryan Innes is the player that's waiting to come out. Forest going to have 10 on the pitch. Ryan Innes took a while there. Southend have been out for a good 3 minutes. They're out a minute before quarter 2. Forest Green came out with the referee. And the Forest Green subs are out so they've got to go back behind the goal. Where the referee's going to allow Forest Green to start whilst they're making their way round. I think it's going to wait to allow the subs to get the Forest Green fans going. Forest Green are going from right to left from where we're sat. They're going towards that packed south stand where the vocal Forest Green's fans are situated. No change at half-time for either team. And Circum kicks off, going back to May. Looking for Quigley down the left-hand side, who can't bring that ball down. It goes off for a throw to Southend. So Forest Green have Can in goal. The back four of Robson, Moore, Taylor, Innes and Long. In midfield, May, Circum and McCann. In the front three of Garrick, Quigley and McAllister. Southend with Hayes in goal. Scott Morrison, Ralph either side of the defence. Houston, Taylor, James Brilliant, Goodliff, Hooper, Apoya Forson, Kendall and Coker. Moore Taylor ushes the ball out for a goal kick. Making his appearance back from injury for the first time at home. Featured last week away more than a week, over 2 weeks ago, away at Hartlepool. Forest Green came away with a point. Can with the goal kick. Steve Koch has made his way back into the director's box. He had to go around the back and through the car park, not allowed to go across the pitch at half time. Quickly flicks the ball on, looking for Garrick. It goes past his man, but he can't get to the ball before it goes off for a throw-in. Mine on the bench of both teams. Southend, Jacola, the sub-keeper, Wind, Bridge, Bonnie, Walker, Gubbins and Miley. Forest Green, Searle, the sub-goalkeeper, Osadavy, Doige, Knowles, Bunker, Jenks and Harry Cardwell. Cardwell, ex-Southend player, of course. Southend with a throw up the line. Both teams down the ball to bounce, and Innes with a poor clearance up the field, and Southend looking to break forward with it. Innes intelligently finds May though, because he's being well pressured by Kendall. And Robson looks for Quigley. Again, his shirt's been taken off his back, but he does well to find McAllister, who looks to find Garrick. Gets the ball taken off him. It goes off for a Forest Green throw, which Robson takes quickly to May. Two men immediately on him, and finds the safety net of Innes behind him. Southend turning it and press on. Robson with a powerful ball from Moore Taylor, can't control it, and Southend get a throw. Unforced error there from Forest Green.
Yeah, and Keenan Appiah-Forson just seemed to hurt himself a little bit, but he's back running around okay now, but he just hurts himself in a challenge there for Southend.
Scott Morris with the throw. Down the line. Moore Taylor wins a header. It goes off for another Southend throw. This is a bit more of a threat. It's 10 yards up from the corner flag. Scott Morris gearing himself to go long. Both fans in full voice, so 750 Southend fans on the far side. And the Shocker South stand to our left, and the sold out main stand rear in, as Scott Morris throws the ball towards the north stand. Pretty full there as the long throw goes towards the near post. And Southend will get the first header, and Forest just need to clear. They do eventually do, and looking to find McCann, but the ball gets taken off him from Taylor. Southend still with pressure, and they've got that ball at the edge of the box, but Moore Taylor calmly heads the ball away, and Forest Green still struggling to get out of their own half as Southend play the ball over the top, and Long wins the first header, finds McAllister to Circum. Garrick wants it on the left-hand side. Garrick gets it on the left-hand side, across the halfway line. Robson making a gut-busting run to go past him, but as Garrick has the ball at his feet, but it might have run out of pitch, and it goes off for a goal kick. And that was a good work from Garrick, a little touch and go, and what effort there was as well from Jamie Robson on the overlapping run. Yeah,
it was gut-busting, wasn't it, by Robson to make up the extra man in the attack. Really good find as well, switch pass by Liam Circum to find Garrick, who'd call for the ball, and Circum able to find him amid the noise that is this atmosphere, which is not what the players will have played in front of most weeks here at the New Lawn. Real pressure cooker atmosphere here tonight.
May challenging for the header, but Hooper wins it. All he can do is find Quigley. He's got two men on him. He's still turning the press on as Quigley as they look to find Scott Morris, who turns past Garrick, goes forward. Southend has some numbers there. Thankfully, Moore Taylor finds Robson, but he can't find a teammate. And again, Southend go forward again. Innes takes a touch away from his man, deep in his own half, and intelligently wins himself a throw-in. And Southend are disrupting Forest Green.
They are, but there was the tag afterwards between Innes and Moore Taylor, and those two have played together before. There's a decent understanding as Moore Taylor goes long.
It goes long looking for McAllister, but again Southend get there first and clear forward. Circum gets the ball back. Robson can't find a teammate in front of him. Southend again win the ball back. Garrick with a strong challenge. That makes sense of a Southend throw. He takes down Scott Morris, who's not getting up just yet. He's off the pitch, doesn't actually need any.
Yeah, he's getting back on the pitch before he does get up. And now he is back on the pitch. He's sitting on the pitch.
Yeah, he could have easily taken the treatment off the pitch, but he's rolled himself back on. And the physio's talking to him, hasn't touched him. I think now he's getting treatment officially.
But he's back off the pitch again now.
So no, the physio didn't touch him, so he's allowed to take the throw in. It was a visual diagnosis, not a physical one. Scott Morris hasn't taken the throw just yet. Dan Connor into his technical area, shouting at where's that throw taken from. Referee waves his complaints away. McCann on the halfway line, finds Garrick on the left. Plays it back to McCann. Quickly to his left. McCann gets himself in a bit of a tangle. And Southend again come away with it. Moore Taylor watches the ball play over the top and for a Forest Green throw.
Yeah, shame there for Charlie McCann because he was well found by Jordan Garrick and just got the ball caught between his feet. And I've noticed the amount of times that this ball, when players have tried to control it, it's just ballooned up in the air. And again, Joe Quigley's just blocked off completely by Taylor. And the referee just says, well, no more of that. Well,
Taylor's got his shirt ripped now, so Quigley actually may have had a bit of something on there. But it was like a American football block.
And there's no decision from the referee. All right, yes, obstruction is no longer in the rule book. There's no such thing as obstruction in football anymore. But you can be fouling someone, surely.
Moore Taylor gets a touch onto the ball and finds McAllister. Still in the Forest Green half. He looks for options. He's being pressed and finds May, but suddenly Southend are putting pressure on again. Long needs to find somewhere to go. He finds Circum and he gets into traffic, and Circum plays all back to May, and Southend are really pressurising Forest Green deep in their own half.
But Rovers are beginning to string the odd pass together, which is better. You can see that they're trying to be braver in possession.
McCann gets dispossessed and gives away another free kick. He doesn't need to do that. Forest Green had the ball back, but they needlessly take down Macario Forson as referees give him a free kick to Scott Morris, and he's getting a bit of a telling off with Scott Morris. Garrick was blocking the free kick and Scott Morris whacked it into Garrick, and Scott Morris is getting more of a telling off with Garrick. He wasn't going back 10 yards.
Well, the referee, I think, is telling Gus Scott Morris that the ball was rolling. I don't think it was. Gus Scott Morris had the ball still in front of him, and he's deliberately played it into Jordan Garrick to get Garrick booked. But I think even that act now is no longer, seen as something that referees will fall for in the interpretation that's been applied to the laws of the game.
Free kick for Southend, 10 yards or so inside the Forest Green half. They push the big Ben long though, and Forest get every man back, played into the penalty area. Cam thinks about coming with a good header, and it's a goal for Southend! A looping header puts them in front. Ben Goodliff with it from that free kick, went over the top of Ted Can and just dropped in the back of the net, and it's Forest Green 0, Southend 1.
Well, it was simple, wasn't it? It was straight from the free kick, looping header, nothing Can could do. Ben Goodliff got up well, and normally you think, well, don't let a team take the quick free kick. I bet Forest Green wish they had let Gus Scott Morris take the quick free kick now, because they didn't defend the ball in. Advantage Southend. Forest Green have been bright at the start of this second half, but not as bright as Southend have been for most of this match, and they'll feel that that is a deserved lead for the visitors.
Yes, it was a good header, but it went over the top of Can. Not sure where his positioning was, as the referee's having a word with Taylor because he had to change his shirt, and the referee's telling him to go off when he changed his shirt, so he's not allowed to come back on for 30 seconds maybe. But I'll tell you what the frustrating thing is for Forest Green fans. That came from that needless free kick that Charlie McCann gave away.
Yeah.
Didn't need to do it. Forest Green had possession, but he got dispossessed. Forest Green won the second ball, but he took down his player, and that led to that free kick which Southend scored from.
Well, there's a lot going on here at the moment. You're right about the free kick, because McCann made the challenge not thinking Jamie Robson would pick up the second ball, and bizarrely Taylor, having swapped his shirt, was made to be on the sidelines for the restart of possession. He swapped a ripped shirt, and the referee's not let him do that in the break of play, and now he's missed a handball in front of the Forest Green dugout.
Moore Taylor finds in this. Southend fans in full voice, they take the lead. And all came from that silly free kick from Charlie McCann. Robson looks for Quigley, just control the ball. What does Southend do now? Do they sit back and defend, or do they try and continue to rattle Forest Green? Well, they've got the ball back and they won themselves a free kick in their own half. Down goes Tom Hopper, and he might take a bit of time to get treatment. And only 55 minutes gone, still a lot of time in this game. But do Southend just start to disrupt the play?
Yeah, I mean, May's just left a leg in on Hopper, hasn't he? And Southend, having got the lead, will take all the time in the world that they can over this free kick, and that's just the way that football is these days.
Free kick to Southend.
The question is for me now, what do Forest Green do? Because if they can't get back on level terms without making a change. What change does Steve Cottrell do? What change does he make? Because ordinarily you'd go 4-4-2 and put the pressure on, but at the moment Rovers being overrun in midfield, and that's with a three-man midfield, which is what has protected them a lot of this season.
Quigley brings the ball down well and gives away a free kick, taken down Scott Morris, who's taking his time to get up yet again. He's going on the floor. Quigley having to go at the Southend bench there, because Scott Morris is going down a bit cheaply. I don't think he'll need any treatment, but it's going to take a while to get back up. Referee's talking to Nathan Ralph, the Southend keeper. I wonder if he's saying anything about the tactics after Southend have gone ahead. But it's Forest Green 0, Southend 1 in this playoff semi-final. Winner goes straight to Wembley. We've got well over half an hour football to go. Southend with his free kick, and they're in half. They're taking time with it though. Referee's telling Nick Hayes to hurry up. And now they've got that goal. Do they just try and defend it? But they've gone long for that free kick, and Innes wins a big header. McCann can't bring down the second ball, and Southend push numbers forward, but it wasn't the best touch by Hussein, and goes off for a Forest Green throw.
I mean, if you're Southend, you just keep doing what you've been doing because you've been on top in this game. And why would you change anything? There's no need to. Macaulay Bond looks like he's about to come on as a substitute, though, for the Shrimpers. For Forest Green, they do need to change things.
McAllister over the top looking for McCann. White has won him off a corner. He has done so. Good left heads the ball off of that Forest Green corner, and Sullivan New Lawn finds their voice again. I think they know that complaining about anything on the pitch isn't worth it where we are in the season. Got to get behind the home team no matter what, those Forest Green fans. No need to dwell on anything. Corner to Forest Green. McAllister takes it towards the far post. Can't find Ryan Innes. He gives away a free kick. Ryan Innes just stood up there, and Southend player went into the back of him.
Yeah, I mean, the Southend defender's won the ball, he's headed it clear, and his momentum has taken him into Ryan Innes. It's never a free kick against Ryan Innes. And then, of course, yeah, the player feels clattered because he's not expecting Innes to be there, but he's actually gone into Innes and then gone down.
The Forest can't get too frustrated.
No,
here.
they can't.
Southend are taking their time whenever they can, managing the game. The Southend fans in full voice as they're leading by 1-0. May wins a free kick there. The referee telling Forest to play the ball in the exact position where the free kick is taken.
And basically it is in the correct position, but the ref wants to allow Southend to make a substitution.
Which sees Kendall come off, being replaced by Macaulay Bond. Gets the boos from the Forest Green fans. Free kick to Forest Green. 59 minutes gone. Forest Green Rovers 0, Southend 1. Good at the goal scorer with the looping head, and Ted Can saw the ball drift over him. You saw when the free kick was taken him, he half came out and then went back, and it was almost lobbed from that header. Moore Taylor with the free kick, plays it long. Before Quigley, but he can't be found. May can't win the ball down either, gives the ball away, and Southend come away with it intelligently. Moore Taylor getting important touch onto it. Southend came away with some numbers there, and McAllister gets himself a throw.
Yeah, Pyer Forson had broken through a challenge of Jamie Robson's and needed a good interception by Moore Taylor.
Garrick looks to find Robson on the left-hand side. He's got a good one there to penetrate. Ball across goal, looking for McCann. He takes a touch to control it, but he can't get a touch with a shot away. And Southend clear as Forest Green half appeal for a penalty. They want themselves a throw in instead. The referee's giving the naughty no sign to Robson, shaking his little finger. It's going to be a throw into Forest Green though. Robson to take, right by the corner flag. The hour marks have come and gone. Forest Green trailing by that 0. Robson with the throw. Finds McCann, back to Robson. 2 men on him straight away. Gets himself a throw in, but it's pushed further back towards the halfway line. Finds May. Forward to Garrick. He turns past his man well. Gives himself a free kick. Good work from Jordan Garrick. Just 6 yards up from the corner of the penalty area. Chance to get the ball into the box. Ryan Ennis trotting into the penalty area. Referee David Watt making sure the ball's exactly where he wants the free kick to be taken.
Notice you've said where he wants the free kick to be taken, not exactly where the foul was committed.
Yes, as May McAllister over the ball. Southend with every man back, 2-man wall. McAllister and May over it. McCann's locked on the edge of the box. Ryan and Innes and Taylor are the big options. Goes with McAllister, left foot towards the far post. Witness with the header, and it's in! It's in! Forest Green has got the equaliser. Ryan Innes, the big man, with the header, gets the new lawn lock-in, and it's one apiece.
Quality delivery from Carl McAllister, curled towards the back post. Ryan Innes towering above everyone else, as we know that he can do, and he's headed it down. Impossible for Nick Hayes to keep out the back of his net. And I said Forest Green, could they get back on terms without changing anything? They have done. Ryan Innes with the goal for Rovers.
And suddenly the new lawn has come to life. Yeah, Ryan Ennis won the header well, but it wasn't a powerful header, so it went into the floor, and there was a really congested there, and the Southend had a pretty good view, sucking it into the back of the net. And the big man Ryan Ennis gets his game back level. And that is so important, a relatively quick response that Southend couldn't just continue frustrating Forest Green.
8 minutes Rovers were behind for. That's how long the gap was between the two goals.
Taylor with a header, finds McAllister, goes over top looking for Quigley. Not the best header from the Southend defence. Southend hoof it clear, suddenly Forest Green on top, and Scott Morris, you can see, just giving a calm down motion to his teammates. And you've got Abaya Forson eventually now back on the pitch. And Innes with the ball at his feet, he finds. Forward looking for Robson, wins a great header. Can he find Quigley in the penalty area? He can't, and it goes into the keeper's hands. I think it might be a glaze off the Southend defender, and Quigley's optimistically asking.
Yeah, I think Harry Taylor just got a little bit of a touch before it could go into the path of Quigley. It was well read by Taylor, actually, because Robson, flying up on the wing, managed to get the header.
Southend got the ball deep in the Forest Green half, and Taylor sees it off for a throw-in. Southend a bit flat after conceding that. I think also Forest Green have really upped their game as well.
Yeah, it's lifted Forest Green, it's lifted the crowd as well. Everything that goes Forest Green's way at the moment is being cheered, and even the main stand around us, even in the vegan prawn sandwich country behind us, getting involved with the hand clapping and the cheering.
McCann finds Circum, he's being pressurised, and Southend get the ball back, and Quigley retrieves it on the halfway line, brings the ball down well, and looks to find Garrick, who gets the ball taken off him with a pretty clinical challenge actually from Southend. Taylor takes a heavy first touch, whacks the ball forward, again looking for Quigley, who heads it looking for McAllister. And McCann gets the ball back, can't find a teammate. Robson heads the ball forward to May. Long wants it on the right hand side. Innes has it, so he crosses the halfway line. Finds Long, back to Innes. Still a lot of football to go. 64 minutes gone here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2. It's Forest Green Rovers 1, Southend 1. Quigley edge of the box, just took a heavy touch, and he had space, and he could have done so much more if he had a good turf touch then, could Quigley. McAllister on the halfway line, back to Innes. Referee eventually gives a free kick
against Liam Circum, which looked pretty obvious. I think he was trying to play the advantage. That's the only thing you can say in the referee's defence there, because it did look pretty obvious. And I think Circum was, well, he's probably thinking, ref, I could have played another 5 games in the time that you'll have taken to give that free kick decision. Southend about to make their second substitution of the night. Cav Miley about to come on.
Yeah, he's not coming on just yet. Southend take that free kick. Taylor with the big header. Southend get the second ball. May doesn't time his header well then, and Southend have enough opportunity. May looking to find McCann again. Southend on the second ball. Robson finds Garrick. His touch is heavy, does well to recover, and challengers are flying in now, and Garrick does come away with it. Goes the pass bomb. And he runs into the key, goes past 3 challenges as Garrick, and Brenton gets taken down on the right hand side. Legal, says the referee, in Southend get the ball back and go forward. What great work that was from Jordan Garrick.
Well, it would have been better if he could have found a pass, because even he had to run out of momentum, but it was tremendous stickability there from Garrick. Rode about 3 challenges, beat a couple of men as well, and eventually Scott Morris got back at him, really hotting up as Southend do make that substitution.
Sees Ollie Croker come off, comes on as Cav Miley. 66 minutes gone. Honours even here. It's 1 apiece. Good lift with the looping header to open the scoring after 54 minutes. Ryan Innes with the header himself after 62. Southend throw. Scott Morris
in their own half, which Dan Connor is yelling at the Forest Green players to squeeze up.
Well, they're a long way back, aren't they?
Yeah.
Robson wins the first header, finds McCann, brings it down to Garrick, wins the throw in his own half. Robson, let's take the throw in quickly. Stole a few yards there, which Kevin Miller's not happy with, the Southend manager. Quigley with the header, looks to find Garrick, but a good intelligent header from Scott Morris heads it back to his keeper Hayes. It's getting a little bit frantic here. The challenges are flying in as well. It does mean a lot, this game. The winner goes to Wembley, of course, the chance to go into League 2.
Should point out as well, one of the players substituted by Southend, Charlie Kendall, was the player on the booking for them. Intelligent management by Kevin Mayer.
Intelligent chest down from Quigley. As Long back heels it to Circum, a bit too fancy, and Southend managed to clear, and Southend go forward with bodies, winning the foot race against Robson. Robson's forced him towards the corner flag though, and Robson gives away a corner, but good running that from Bond, but Robson did so well firstly to march them towards the corner flag, then get a clean challenge in as well.
Yeah, it was one of those that he'd gone to ground, and to avoid conceding the free kick in that scenario, you almost have to give away the corner. More defending for Rovers to do from set pieces, and they've been pretty good on all of them, bar one.
Yeah, they did score from the previous set piece into the box at Southend. As corner's coming in now towards the far post. Quigley with a defensive header. Off for a throw. Southend may keep the big men up there.
Rovers had everyone back as well from the corner.
And they think about going long, do Southend. But they see Goodlift, the tall defender who scored the goal for Southend, go back to his defensive role. And they go short. And playing it on the left-hand side. Forest Green still deep in their own half. Southend have a lot of space in the halfway line. Forest Green still pretty deep, but they are forced to go back to the keeper of Hayes. McCann half charging him down. Robson wins the header. Bond's on him though. Quigley again with his shirt pulled. McAllister could have got the end of a glancing header, but Southend clear. Robson again winning that challenge against Bond. Finds Circle on the halfway line, brings the ball down well, storms forward, got Garrett to his left, gets dispossessed with a good clean challenge from Cav Miley, fresh off the bench. Robson finds May. The game is frantic now. May looking for Garrick on the left hand side, great touch from Garrick, finds McAllister, continues his run, and Garrick's on the left hand side. Looking to return the ball to McAllister, and there's a quick clearance from Scott Morris for a Forest Green corner.
I'll take a corner from that scenario as well. Also, there was a big lunge as well by Harry Taylor in on Carl McAllister. McAllister did well to straddle that and then kept the attack going, but Garrick's return ball back to McAllister wasn't the greatest. Rovers, a little bit of good fortune to get the corner.
Corner for Forest Green. May over it. 70 minutes gone. Forest Green 1, Southend 1. Innes is there. The short off from McAllister goes it back into the box. Ball played towards the far post. Innes found it again. Heads into the floor, but good keeping from Hayes nullifies that header. He wants to play it out quickly, does Hayes, but Forest Green has gone well to come back quickly. Bowls it out to the left-hand side. Forest Green a bit out of shape at the moment. Southend looking to use that with Perillion down the left-hand side. Goes past Long in the penalty area now. Perillion just waiting to get that ball in. Forces back to goal, twisting and turning. Goes outside the penalty area. Forest Green have got numbers back. Perillion still with the ball at his feet, and he wins off a corner. Long putting the challenge in. That could have been dangerous for Forest Green. It was dangerous.
Southend's 5th of the night.
Gone from one end of the pitch to the other with that corner.
Yeah, Rovers had defenders back, but also Southend had 3 men available around the back post. If they'd have put the early cross in back to the back post, Rovers were in trouble.
Corner to Southend. Bon on Can, the Forest Green keeper. Played towards the penalty spot. Good header that could have been from Southend as Nathan Ralph got the header away. Harkle's a handball. Nothing given the referee. And Southend put another ball into the box. Forest Green already could to it, and Can punches clear, and Garrick half bears himself, but Southend get the ball back and play it to the left hand side. Bond with a lot of space. Shot goes in over the bar for a goal kick. And Forest Green just need to settle down a bit there because they were at 6s and 7s at times.
Yeah, it's one of those where the ball drops in the penalty area, and that's where the shout for handball came in as well. But Rovers, the problem is, anywhere else in the pitch you'd slide in and you put your foot through it. In the penalty area you don't, because obviously you don't want to mistime it, collect with an opponent, give away a penalty, and therefore things just look a little bit less predictable inside the penalty area.
As Forest Green clear from the penalty spot. Finds May, back to Long. He's got a bit of space in front of him. To McCann. Finds McAllister on the right hand side. Tries to put the ball into the penalty area. Might go himself, goes past one challenge. Lays it back to May, who just gets charged down. And Southend come away with it. Robson versus Bond yet again. As Bond plays the ball straight up or throw in. He's got the better of Robson, you've got to say, at the moment, but it's the delight of the Forest Green fans. He tried to tap and go and went straight up for a throw.
Yeah, well, he's played about 55 minutes less than Jamie Robson has, hasn't he, Macaulay Bonn? And yeah, even the ball was too fast for him there, though, after he'd played it on. Elsewhere, still Spurs 1, Manchester United 0 in the Europa League final. And in the international T20 women's cricket, England chasing 147 to beat the West Indies, 109 for 2 in the 14th over.
Listen to that on 5 Sports Extra. Thank you very much for joining us here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2 in the National League Playoff semi-final. It's Forest Green Rovers 1, Southend 1. Southend in their own half. 73 minutes gone. It's nervy. May plays the ball off for a Southend throw. He thinks the throw should have gone his way, but no one agrees with him. I think the Forest Green fans, even though there was a 10% chance it was Forest Greens, would have appealed for it. Forest Green yet to make any subs. Steve Cottrell made a point before the game saying, thinking about extra time and penalties. It's heading that way at the moment. Moore Taylor clears. Robson with the flick on. Can he find Quigley? He can. On the halfway line. Looks for options. Plays it all the way back to Innes. A bit of a grimace there because a few Southend players could have gotten an intercepted. Quigley chests the ball down from that Innes long ball.
Is it only these two playing at the moment?
McAllister looks to find Garrick and plays it straight off for a goal kick. It was overhit. The floodlights taking pretty much full effect here. A nice pinky glow over the Cotswolds here in Gloucestershire. The South stand bouncing together behind the goal when Nick Hayes has taken the goal kick. Both fans, you just think a bit nervy now. Hayes with a huge kick. Finds Bonn. But Robson wins the second header. Finds Garrick, who goes past his man, finds Quigley. Quigley has 3 men on him and one of them takes the ball off him. Finds Bonn again. And Southend come away with it, and McCann with another free kick. I think that was a less obvious one, but he left a little something in on Houston. Got to be careful getting a yellow card here, McCann, because he's certainly picked up given away a few niggly free kicks.
Yeah, it's one of those where Houston got control of the ball after it was deflected to him, and Charlie McCann was trying to change direction, and he's basically used Houston as a sort of handbrake to do a handbrake turn around him. But again, the fans really getting involved here. Main stand on their feet, applauding Forest Green.
Stand up for Forest Green, I think, is the chance, and majority of the main stand do so. Free kick to Southend, though. Similar position where they scored their goal. Loop towards the penalty area. Ryan Ennis wins the first header. The second header's mostly been won by Southend today. Forest Green still deep as Houston's on the ball. Plays to the left-hand side. Bond's lurking on the far post. And Southend playing some good football, linking up well, brilliant. Forest Green do well to usher that ball out for a goal kick. McCann doing defensive duties there.
Just think substitutes have given Southend a little bit more energy. I think Macaulay Bond trying to run Jamie Robson down this right-hand side for Southend, and they've kind of wrestled back a little bit of the initiative after Rovers equaliser with those substitutions, haven't they? Having said that, one of them came before Rovers equalised, so they can disrupt the game as well.
May looking to find McCallis on the right-hand side, easily blocked out from the Southend defence. Southend have got space here as they cross the halfway line. Miley with it. Forest Green do get men behind the ball, but still Southend just seems to have so much space. Apaya Forson in the centre circle. Scott Morris has it on the right-hand side. Laid down the line where Carillion has popped up on the right-hand side. Goes past Moore Taylor, gives away a pretty obvious free kick there. Might get a yellow card for it as well. Carillion is going towards goal, and that's the one that Moore Taylor can give away. Dangerous free kick though, 6 yards or so in from the corner flag.
It's not often you see Jordan Moore Taylor get on the wrong side of a bouncing ball like that, but Chambers Carillion was able to turn Jordan Moore Taylor, and Moore Taylor, like an experienced defender, knows when he's been done. Actually, best bet, I'll take one for the team and avert the danger any further.
Dangerous free kick though for Southend. It's 9 yards in from the corner flag. Over it is Miley. Forest every man back. Tight angles here. Can's got a man on him, the Forest Green keeper. Flipped powerfully towards the near post. Hits the wall actually, the one-man wall of McCann. And Forest Green half clear. The Southend get the ball back through Miley, who opens the play up. Back to Scott Morris. Down the right-hand side to Carillion. Back to Scott Morris. Gets a few boos. Finds Bond in space. Again, Forest Green backing off. Southend in the penalty area. Back to Bond. Force further away. Scott Morris again gets the bruise. Carillion on the right. The little link up well with Pyre Forson. Back to Scott Morris. Playing patient football at Southend. Eventually the ball's played into the box and Moore Taylor side puts the ball away. Off for a Southend throw just inside the Forest Green half. Still no movement on the bench for Forest Green.
Got the attendance tonight, 3,937, of which 751 are from Southend.
Fair play to those Southend fans and the 3,000 odd Forest Green fans who made the trip today. I want to watch another game as well this season, but that's 11 minutes of normal time to go. We don't know who it's going to be. It's Forest Rovers 1, Southend 1. Here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2. Southend again enjoying possession here. They've overloaded the right-hand side. It's worked for Scott Morris. Just can't get on the end of that ball. And Bond did well to find him. Scott Morris, the top goal scorer for Southend, suddenly was driving towards goal, but good awareness of Ted Can to snuffle the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Can was always favourite, wasn't he? But you've got to be alert, and that's one thing that Scott Morris has been very alert. Anytime the ball's been stopped in this game, Scott Morris is one of those who's very quick to get it going again.
Forest Green won themselves a throw in here, just on the halfway line. More change on the bench for Southend. Jack Bridge looking to come on.
Today's match attendance
Started
is 3,937,
in that victory over Rochdale.
751 are from Southend.
Robson heads the ball forward to Quigley. Back to May. To Innes on the halfway line. Flips the ball forward. It quickly can't be found in the penalty area. It goes over the top of him for a goal kick. And you start to think about extra time now. Maybe that's why Forest are going to keep some of these subs in the bank. All of their subs in the bank as it stands.
Well, it's not like they have to worry about substitution events, though, is it, in the National League?
You can make 5 stoppages in the National League, and here comes that sub for Southend. Bridge coming on, replacing Hussein. Quickly getting some fluids in.
Leaving the field, number 8 Norman Sin to be replaced by number 7 Jack Bridge.
And again, the nerves, you can just feel starting to build. One apiece here at the new lawn.
Well, it's also the stage, isn't it, where you're beginning to think, right, okay, next goal wins.
Yeah.
That's what makes it nervous. You know, when Southend went 1-0 up in, 54th minute through Ben Goodliff, you thought, right, Rovers do have time. And as it proved.
Bond winning the first header again. It's a decent one as well. Thankfully Forest will win the second header, but Bond gets presented too much of the ball and gets the ball back. May can't find McAllister deep in his own half. You don't want to do that. Bond back to Scott Morris. The ball went off for a throw-in. Forest Green thought it went off before, but the referee's assistant rightly said the ball stayed on and goes off for a Southend throw instead. Scott Morris on it. Thinks about going long. And dries the ball. It's giving up for a long one, although a short option does appear, but he does go in towards the penalty area. Robson with a defensive header, not the best header though, and so I can get the ball back through Bond, back to Scott Morris, but Garrick just nips the ball away from him. Another Southend throw though. Forest Green deeply camped in their own half. Scott Morris with the throw. Powerfully played into the box. Bond with the back heel, but Forest Green half clear through McAllister. But again, Southend win the second ball. May takes a touch, plays it to McCann, and Circum gets the touch on that. And then that's going to fall well for McCann, but the Circum header took the ball away from him. And here comes Bond in the Forest Green penalty area, forced outside the box. Decent ball into ball. Scott Morris takes a touch away from goal into the near post, and good nullifying and snuffling from Ted Kahn because Scott Morris popped up with a dangerous shot.
Yeah, it was just outside the 6-yard box on the right-hand side. It popped up. One of those positions you expect him to cross, but actually, whether accidentally or not, but he's gone for the near post. And Can was alert and his handling was safe enough and was able to gather, but nervy moment for Forest Green again.
Quickly his header goes behind him. Still no great movement on the bench of Forest Green. 83 minutes gone. Forest Green 1, Southend 1. And the thing is, if Forest Green do concede, then there'll be a load of panic subs after. But they haven't. It's still one apiece. It's the game drifting towards extra time and a late night here in Gloucestershire. Throw up the line from Southend. Robson with the header. Can't find McCann. Second ball again, one from Southend. With the ball over the top, straight out for a throw Forest Green's way. I think the last 3 or 4 minutes, it's all been in the Forest Green half.
Yeah, Rovers struggling to get out of their territory, and you think, well, have they created or fashioned any chances since they equalised? And you're struggling to think of too many. There was the attack, which didn't quite get the return ball to McAllister from Garrick. Things broke down, but Rovers now with an opportunity to try and break out, but
they can't, and Southend get the ball back, and then comes a long range shot. It's a decent one as Kahn goes away to his right hand side. A long range there from Miley, swerving away from Kahn, and he went straight to burst for that corner. But Forest Green were just suffering under the press then from Southend.
Yeah, you know, a couple of times they had the opportunity to clear and were trying to play football and play out of their own half, and you know, they've gone long when they've needed to in this game. Well, I think that perhaps was an opportunity for them to do so. Another corner to defend.
Another corner for Southend. Played towards the far post. Forest Green get half cleared. McAllister plays the ball forward. Looking for McCann. Can he break? He's looking to find McAllister in the middle. He's found McAllister. Ball forward to McCann. The Southend do well to get the ball away from him. And Robson gets the ball back. He's being marshalled and wins off a throw. Good link up between McAllister and McCann, who are putting in a really gut-busting run. Not the best throw from Robson, and Moore Taylor has the ball deep in his 6-yard box. He finds Innes. Forest Green still struggling really to get out of the half.
The thing is, there's big spaces in midfield for Forest Green at the moment, and Southend are pushing on, so it's hard to play through that, but Rovers managing to at the moment.
Robson gets the ball in the Southend half, has a bit of space and finds Quigley intelligently, gets himself in a bit of a tangle, but goes ball back to Quigley, the little 1-2, and Southend clear. They're putting pressure then. Forest Green just couldn't get a shot away.
Better from Forest Green, but you'd like to see it have an end product with an effort on goal, wouldn't you?
Thrown to Forest Green. Bizarrely, referee's telling Forest Green to take the ball further up the pitch. And Robson wanted some angles to work with. Gets the ball back from McCann to Garrick. Gets dispossessed but does well to win the ball. But he gives away a free kick. I thought he won the ball cleanly. Referee said there's a shirt pull. What about all other shirt pulls in the first 86 minutes of this game?
Wow. I mean, we've seen shirts ripped tonight after they've been pulled, and he blows up for a shirt pull for that. David Rock, you have frustrated supporters of both clubs tonight and baffled them, like most good referees baffle lots of football fans every week.
4 minutes of normal time to go, 3 minutes of normal time to go. Forest Green 1, Southend 1. Free kick from Hayes, Southend keeper goes long. Robson wins the first header and wins himself a free kick as well. It must be surprising, sort of the Forest Green fans, there's been no changes for Forest Green yet.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you think, OK, what needs to happen for those changes to take place, doesn't it? Steve Cottrell, though, has often said about the shape that you don't want to go too soon with the shape. Rovers, when they got the equaliser, I think that's enabled him to keep with the 4-3-3 for a little bit longer. Joe Quigley's run himself into the ground for 90 minutes tonight and been absolutely excellent in his effort and the way that he's tried to link people in. It's one of those, at what point do you it's stick or twist, isn't it?
It is. I was just concerned. They haven't, and maybe just hypothetically speaking, but there's been no... They'll have to make changes if something happens.
Harry Cardwell running back to the dugout with purpose.
And he's got the call to come on for the last few minutes of normal time. Thrown for Southend up the line. Robson clears high into the night sky. There's a shirt pull on Quigley. Referee gives nothing for that, but he's found Garrick. Told to go forward. There's 3 Southend players near him, and does well to come away from them. Finds May. Long wants it on the right hand side, but Circum's found, but he does find Long eventually. There's options in the box. Back to Innes. Plays first time ball into the area, can't find a teammate, and it's cleared back to Innes. Heads the ball forward. Again, the headed cleared from Southend. And Forest going to push men forward, and Southend might make the most of it as Bond comes on forward. Quigley could probably take a yellow card here, and he brings Bond down. The Southend manager Kevin Murr wants him to be a yellow card, but not given from the ref.
It's one of those, I think Mayer's reaction was so pantomime as Forest Green now do prepare to make their first 2 substitutions. Manny Osadebe and Harry Cardwell are stripped and ready to come on.
We've got to defend this free kick though, Forest Green first.
But yeah, I think Mayer's reaction there almost stopped it being a booking from Joe Quigley, which in a defensive capacity, that's his first foul.
Scott Morris with a looping free kick into the box. Forest Green do clear through Quigley, but for a Southend throw. Not making the changes yet at Forest Green. They've got to do some defending first. Big moment this. We're in the last 20 seconds of the 90. Not really too much injury time. I think Southend were managing the game a bit between the 2 goals. One for the first from Southend, second from Forest Green. It's still 1 apiece here. Southend have this throw deep in the Forest Green half. Playing it back to Taylor. Just the 3 minutes of time added on. Southend with the play. It's a searching ball, looking for Goodneff, who can't control the bouncing ball. Can he keep the ball on? He can't. It's going to be a Forest Green throw.
And you think, of those 3 minutes of stoppage time, half of that is for the 3 Southend substitutions.
So it looks like we're going to be having extra time, but it's still 2.5 minutes to play, and here comes that double change for Forest Green. The first sees coming off Jordan Garrick, replaced by Maniosa Davey. And the second is Harry Cardwell. He's going to be coming on, would imagine, for Joe Quigley. He is. So it might go to a 4. Let's see what the formation will be, because what's Davies replaced Gareth is playing as a left winger. Standing ovation, by the way, for Quigley as he comes off. We've got play will restart with a Forest Green throw deep in their own half.
And since he's come on, Harry Cardwell has been kicked and stood on by Gus Scott Morris.
And header one back by Scott Morris. And Forest give away a free kick, and that's the dangerous one as Perillion was taken down. Was that from Osadebe, I think? And he's going to be okay, but Forest Green have got to defend this. It's not shootable, but it's certainly a chance to put the ball back into the box, and exactly where Forest Green conceded.
Yeah, it's from a deep position, isn't it? And it's one of those that just the frustrations of so much goes on in football, isn't it? Of winding players up, and Cardwell baited and then lured into conceding there the free kick.
Free kick for Southend, big moment. Jack Bridge over it. Forest going to be man back. If you score this, you win the game. We've had 2 minutes added, 3 already. It's 1 apiece at the moment. Bridge on it. Plays it in right-footed. Can't think about coming, doesn't. First header 1 from May, but Forest Green haven't cleared it convincingly yet. The ball's played back into the 6-yard box, and Forest Green need to get the ball away as McAllister takes the header away from goal, but Southend get the ball back, and it goes off for Southend throw. A couple of yards up from the corner flag, deep in the Forest Green half. They take the throw in quickly. Forest Green switched off from it. Back to Scott Morris, ball played into the box, over. Everyone's gone for a goal kick. It hasn't. May scrambles clear. Southend will get the ball back, and another Scott Morris chance played to Bond on the right hand side. Southend looking to win it at the death. Played to the unmarked player in the area, looking to get a shot away. Played back across goal, and heroic defending from Jordan Moore-Taylor, who gets a block in for another throw to Southend.
Well, he's played that off from inside his 6-yard box and done very well to get it off for a throw.
Scott Morris takes the throw back. The fans want the full-time whistle. Perillion clips the ball into the box. Forest can get a clearance away, and that's overheaded that box into Can's hands, and he can take a breath, but not for long. You can imagine the full-time whistle's going to go, and we're going to have half an hour more football.
Well, there'll be 5 more seconds, because we're up to 93 and a half minutes now, virtually. And, that extra time added on for the substitution of Harry Cardwell. The referee puts his whistle to his lips.
And we're going to put our overtime sheet in, because we're going to have half an hour more football as it finishes. Forest Green Rovers 1, Southend 1. 2 goals from defenders, headers from both teams. The first coming from Goodliff after 54 minutes. A looping header over the top of Can. And then a few minutes later, Innes head in. Forest Green back into drawing level. And after that, Southend, you've got to say, have been, I wouldn't say dominating it all, but certainly have been on top.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They've had the lion's share of possession and pressure. Chances have been few and far between for Forest Green, and they've made that double change now. A little bit of a difference in shape with Manny Osadebe, less orthodox winger in the Jordan Garrick sense, so he'll give you a little bit more as a midfielder, but also a little bit more power and energy in the centre of the park. And both teams at the moment are very on the pitch, having their team talks with them. Steve Cottrell, away to our left-hand side, is still in the director's box and has Dan Connor up with him, and Steve Cottrell is giving Dan Connor a team talk, for the team talk that he then wants his players to get, because Forest Green cannot hear directly from their manager. They don't go back into the change room. Steve Cottrell's allowed in the change rooms, but not allowed at this point onto the pitch to talk to his players elsewhere in the Europa League final. 78 minutes gone in Bilbao. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 0. Still the goal by Brennan Johnson. It was initially credited as a Luke Schwein goal, but it's been given to Brennan Johnson on 42 minutes. The difference in the women's cricket. England have beaten West Indies in the first T20 match by 8 wickets, getting to their victory target of 147 to win. They got to 150 for 2 in the 17th over, so congratulations to England's women. The referee has blown his whistle and both teams are now trudging back out. Well, Southend are trudging back out to their positions on the pitch. Forest Green are getting the team talk from Dan Connor that Steve Cottrell has told Dan Connor to give Rovers, because obviously Dan Connor had to go and collect that from Steve Cottrell before he could impart the information from the players, and Rovers now break. Not for the first time in this game. Rovers have kept Southend waiting.
So we've got 30 minutes more of football. Forest Green made those 2 changes in that 3 minutes of added on time. Damien Carter didn't have much to impact the game going forward. There's going to be another toss here. I thought we'll be going the same way, but let's see how the toss goes. Southend, I think, win it. They're not changing ends, so I think, no, they're going to keep the way they are. So Forest are going towards the south stand in the second half of extra time. And we've got 30 more minutes of football. Of course, Southend had one in extra time against Rochdale to get to this game against Forest Green. Forest Green haven't played for 16 days. Well, that might just get a bit of momentum in Forest Green's favour. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, that's what they've had this mini pre-season for, is to be fresher, isn't it? That's the plan. They haven't had the game in between, so they've topped up their fitness. Steve Cottrell saying that you don't get many opportunities in a season to do that. Well, that's what Rovers have had the last 16 days.
Southend kick off. You've got to say the full-time whistle was a relief for the Forest Green fans and the players probably, as Southend did dominate things towards the end of the second half. Ostade wins all that for Forest Green. Finds Robson, who goes long, looking for Cardwell, who, with the delight of the Southend fans, sees the ball bounce over him.
Well, I think they were appealing for a free kick from Harry Cardwell, and you'd hope Harry Cardwell becomes, supercharged in his motivation for tonight, because I watched him at Roots Hall, and the Essex press were talking to us afterwards saying, well, is that Cardwell's first start for you guys? No, he started quite a few games, and they were surprised because he wasn't running the channels and tearing defenders all over the pitch like he had done for Southend.
He's playing up front, say, by himself at the moment, both?
Yeah, McAllister's the closest to him, but he's dropped back a little bit, and Ostade is playing as a genuine midfielder down that left-hand side, as opposed to a winger, a little bit closer to Jamie Robson, maybe giving Robson more licence to bomb forwards.
Free kick to Forest Green in their own half. A late night for these 4,000 fans here today. Kids as well. They've got an excuse to be late for school tomorrow. Free kick to Forest Green. More Taylor takes in his own half, looking for Cardwell. He wins the first header but can't find McAllister. Southend straight onto it. Ricardo might get another chance here. He's in the penalty box, forced out of it. Plays the ball, can't find McAllister, and Southend clear. Can only find Ryan Innes though. Find Circum. Back to May in the centre circle. Back to Robson on the halfway line. Ostadaby. It's a slow start to this extra time. There's only 2 minutes gone. One apiece here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2.
Forest Green enjoying, actually, I think probably their longest spell of possession for the entire game.
Just getting a feel for things as Innes plays the ball forward to McAllister. Still in their own half, but you're right, they're just enjoying having some possession. Also, Davies unmarked in the centre circle, goes forward into the Southend half. Southend done well to come back. Finds Robson, who's made a fast run, but Southend get the ball back. Forcing it back to their keeper. Cardwell chasing Hayes down. Hayes plays it up the field. Southend again with the first header. There's a player down for Forest Green. It could be a head injury. It's Robson, I think. Might have been on the end of a Bond challenge. He's looking groggy, Robson, but the referee's checking he's okay. Not going to be requiring treatment.
Zero movement from the physio of Forest Green in the technical area as well. It's just one of those that Jamie Robson goes down a couple of times. Well, goes down most games actually with a head injury, and does seem to get clattered in challenges occasionally.
That's the applause of Joe Quigley. He's made his way around the pitch to go back into the dugout. No Christian Doynes yet, still on the bench. Innes going long. Ralph, not the best defensive header. McAllister gets onto the end of it. He's got a man on him. Goes to the right hand side. There's traffic there, but somehow finds Circum in the penalty box. Clips it with his right foot towards the far post. Cannot save again the header. It's scrambled in with Forest Green. Manios and David in extra time. Puts his team in front. Fresh off the bench. Celebrates in front of the Southend fans. And early on in extra time, Forest Green come from behind and lead by 2-1.
Well, what a fantastic ball by Carl McAllister to find Liam Circum. Circum got to the byline, got the cross in, and there was Manios and Davey coming in late at the far post, got the header in, and it's gone into the back of the net. Southend had a man on the line trying to get it out, but he's only hit it into the roof of the net. Confirmation that the ball has gone in. Forest Green, the substitutions have worked, but now those nerves get even greater for Forest Green because they've really got something to hang on to.
Referees cleaning up the pitch, but also Davey cheekily, naughty, would say, celebrating in front of the Southend fans. I think a water bottle was thrown onto the pitch. Move on the bench for Southend. Off comes Shane Brilliant. On comes Josh Walker. Great play from Forest Green. Circum putting a beautiful ball across to Davey. It's early though, there's still 25 minutes of football to go.
Why couldn't he have done that 5 minutes ago, or why couldn't he have done it in 20 minutes time?
So, what did Forest Green do now?
Well, they keep playing the way that they have been playing, bossing possession so far in extra time. That's what they need to do. Doing it, though, is going to be a lot harder to actually physically do than said. A lot easier said than done.
Yeah, 5.5 minutes of time. Well, let's just say 5.5 minutes gone in the extra time. Forest Green needed by 2-1. Rochdale were involved in that dramatic 4-3 victory. Southend versus Rochdale. They can score an extra time as well. It's been shown. Cardle putting the pressure on, goes back to Hayes, who clears up the line. May gets the ball back to Circum. May found again, too long. Finds the unmarked McCann, who finds Cardle as offside. Those Forest Green fans in line did not agree with that decision.
I don't think he was either. It was an instant flick by Charlie McCann, and I thought he was level. Cardwell might have been off when the ball was played to McCann,
yeah,
but then it's a new phase once it gets flicked on by McCann. And the free kick is certainly 10 yards in front of where it should have been taken from.
Hayes with it. Forest Green leading by 2-1 in extra time. Circum in his own half. The player down for Southend holding his head, which maybe read into that because Circum had a half chance to break.
Well, that's fine for Forest Green because Liam Circum didn't give possession away. Rovers have possession from the restart. That's important for Forest Green.
Got to save Liam Circum. I said he didn't have the best game in the first half of the normal today, and he was all as good as he has been, and you rightly said yet, and he's come into that game and he got a beautiful assist for that Osadebe goal.
Yeah, and what does that say about a player who's played 700 games in his career? All right, he's done that for a reason, but he is 35 as we get back underway, and you know that just shows the quality that he's got in terms of his fitness and his professionalism to be able to do that in the 5th minute of extra time.
And he just takes the ball off Walker in an intelligent position. Innes. Oh, Forest Green is saying we're going to Wembley. That's early. That is early, the Forest Green fans. And not happening yet, especially if Southend get on the end of that quickly taken throw in. They can't because Innes intercepts. But, you know, Forest Green are a long way from Wembley yet. 7.5 minutes, they added 30 to go in here in extra time.
Yeah, it's not like you say it ironically in the second round of the FA Cup, is it, when you've scored a goal?
No, you don't but it's not happening yet. Forest Green are leading. And Southend clear rashly, really, for a goal kick. And Forest Green now they're doing what Southend did when they went ahead and just taking their time with this. Knowles is on the bench today. He's got the ball. He's not giving it quickly back to Can.
And when he doesn't roll at the full distance, so Can has to go to the edge of his 18-yard box and collect it. And then, of course, he'll go to the far side of his 6-yard box and he'll spot the ball up and kick it long downfield. There's no short goal kicks being taken from Forest Green. Get the ball up to halfway and, if possible, into the Southend half. That's the tactic.
Cardwell does well to be found there from that Can goal kick. He's found on the right hand side of the penalty. With a shot from Cardwell, goes wide of the goal. A powerful shot. That would have been lovely for Cardwell. Scored against his old club, but he had the confidence to take that shot on there.
Well, it's just absolutely flashed past the near post of Nick Hayes' goal, hasn't it? And, he's hit it true enough, but I think he might just have got a little bit of swerve and slice, which is just taking it away from the mark. It was going away from him as he went to hit it, but he linked up brilliantly with McAllister. And, I said Rovers would just clear their lines. Actually, they've created a chance from it with, 2 more touches of the ball. It shows that Rovers can still go on and get another in this game if they want to.
Ennis with a defensive header, finds Circum. Can he find Osadebe in his own half? He can. Goes back to Robson as the safety net, who clears up the line, goes off for a throw-in, goes behind the Southend fans. And they need a new ball, which the Southend, one of the backroom staff, quickly whack it onto the pitch.
Well, the fourth official, to be fair, had switched off, and Kev Mayer was absolutely livid at the fourth official, who appeared to be just ignoring the game and the situation, that a new ball was required. And the fourth official's then told the Southend bench, don't nick my ball.
Forest Green do well to get the ball back with Circum, deep in their own half. Robson clears up the line. Look at that run from Cardwell. McCann's still getting there as well. Southend just take the ball off McCann and do well to get the ball on as well. And Forest Green a bit disjointed by committing men up the line. Forest Green give away a corner. Well, worked in Southend. Pia Forson just playing the ball off a Forest Green defender.
Yeah, I think he played it off Jamie Robson at the end, and at the moment this game's going end to end at the moment. Rovers still pressing forward, looking to attack, and of course Southend, they've got to be on the attack, haven't they?
Well, they've got a corner. There's been a threat from them. They've had a few as well. It's played towards the far post and it's congested there, and Forest Green sit off for another corner. Paul, you're keeping count of those corners.
8. This is the 8th Southend corner. I think Goodliff got the run there, and it was a really brave header by Ryan Ennis to win that ball and get it behind for a corner.
Referee's pointing at something. The ball's played in towards the far post. Cardwell can't get the head onto it, and that header from Southend goes wide. It's Kevin Weir, the Southend manager, heading his hand to that, because that was a good chance from the visitors.
Yeah, it was Nathan Ralph, the captain, who's got up at the back post and is heading it past the near post. They say head it back from where it came from, but got a little bit too much on it and went about a yard past Ted Can's left-hand post.
Goal kick to Forest Green. 11.5 minutes gone here in extra time. Forest Green 2, Southend 1 on BBC Radio Gloucestershire and 5 Sports Extra 2. Cardwell wins the first header, but can't find player in the green and black of Forest Green, and Southend get the ball and go forward, but it's not the best ball, and Long takes a touch and plays it upfield, looking for McAllister and Cardwell there as well. It's a rash clearance from Southend. They're doing well to get the ball away. And going down the left-hand side, looking for Walker. Ennis takes the ball away from him for a Southend throw.
And I think Ryan Ennis has hurt his hip as well. He's slid in there and he's signalled immediately that he's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
and he's going to need the physio on,
and that could be problems with Forest Green. On the bench is Harvey Bunker, but I think he knew something went then, Ryan Ennis, and he wouldn't want the physio to come on because he can't defend this free kick.
Well, it's a throw-in, isn't it?
Sorry,
but yeah, he can't defend that. So
he has been instrumental today, not just defending, but he scored a goal as well.
Interestingly, Christian Deutsch going for a run from the bench as well, and you actually wonder if someone like a Christian Deutsch or a Harry Cardwell could do a job at centre half as well if they didn't fancy Harvey Bunker. I mean, it's one of those that you might consider as an option. I know it's somewhat laughable, but someone who could win lots of headers, Christian Deutsch or Harry Cardwell pushed back there as well. Innes stretching out his groin at the moment. It's one of those that might just be a touch of cramp as well, but he's back to his feet. That is a good sign for Forest Green.
But he can't defend this throw-in, and he is the man to get on the end of the headers when they're into the box. Southend will know that.
He's taken a tie-up off of his sock as well, which that's never quite the good sign, but
if he was going to come off, Forest Green to make the sub now.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to continue. But Forest Green have got to defend this throw-in first. It's going to be a long one. They're defending with 10. Big moment because no Ryan Innes. Play towards the near post. Forest Green do well to get the first header away. Ryan Innes won't be allowed on for a good 30 seconds. Scott Morris gets the ball back on the left-hand side. Played the ball into the penalty area. Glancing header goes into Can's hands. He falls to the floor like goalkeepers do. And eventually gets up, like they do when their team are winning, by the way. 1 minute to go here in the first half of extra time. There'll be a few minutes for this Ryan Innes injury, but he's back on.
And to a great big cheer as well as Ted Can rolls the ball out to the edge of his area and then launches it downfield. And Rovers have been happy to go long beyond Southend's back four as Cardwell gets the flick on that goes behind for a goal kick, because Southend have pushed bodies forward and there is space in behind the Southend defence, and so it's been a legitimate tactic for Forest Green. Just stop turning that Southend defence.
And they're finding Cardwell so well, Forest Green. He's winning the flick-ons and holding the ball up when need be. May gets a shove in the back, referee gives nothing. Forest Green managed to clear, but it's into no man's land and Southend mop up. They've got space on the left-hand side. Fourth official's getting his board ready. Ryan Innes is beat, but McAllister's there to help up and mop up. Plays the ball back to Long. 2 minutes of injury time here.
2 minutes of time added on.
Cardwell gets out jumps then. Good controlling of the ball by Pia Forson. It's intercepted by McAllister to Cardwell. Holds off on the halfway line. Back to May. Spreads it to Robson on the left-hand side. Good football from Forest Green. Robson needs options. Finds Osadebe. Back to McCann on the left. The initial momentum's gone, but Forest Green have won themselves a throw-in line with the penalty area.
They'll take that. It was good football by Forest Green. Worked the ball around, run Southend around, and they've actually played pretty good stuff in.
This is where the fitness comes
extra
into
time,
it.
yeah.
Osadebe turns past his man, looks for options at the edge of the box, finds Cardwell. It's congested though, taps it to McAllister. No one's coming away with it yet. The bodies are flying in, and Southend do come away with it. And it's Walker. But Robson stays strong, and a powerful challenge from Robson.
Yeah, good solid tackle, wasn't it? Off for a throw-in.
And Bond wins himself another throw. This one midway in the Forest Green half, with the last 50 seconds of injury time in the first half of extra time.
Southend throwing all the big men forward. Goodlift's gone up there, only Taylor's back, and he's past the edge of the the edge of the centre circle.
They go short to Bond. Back to Stone Taker, played in, but charged down by Osadebe. So the first half extra time has gone quite quickly.
Yeah, they slow it down in the second half of extra time, Billy.
Especially if your team are leading. Just physics. Southend had the ball on the right-hand side. Osadebe stays strong, wins the ball, comes away from his man, holds the ball up, looking for Robson, who spreads it to McAllister on the right-hand side, puts the pressure on, the ball's back pass to Hayes, who can't pick the ball up and quickly plays it to Ralph on the left. Referee checks his watch and blows with a half-time whistle. Forest Green 2 goals to 1 up at half-time with an absolutely massive 15 minutes of football to come. Manny Osadebe in extra time, heading the ball home from a good circum assist across goal, and Osadebe heads it into the floor for it, past Nick Hayes to go 2-1 up in extra time. And now we're going to have a very, very long 15 minutes of football.
Yeah, and it's what do Forest Green do now? Manny Osadebe has just shaken hands with Jamie Searle, the Rovers sub-keeper, who just says, well done mate, that's a big goal you've scored, and then Searle goes over and just pats Ted Cann on the back as well, and you can see all the bench for Forest Green just trying to encourage the teammates who are involved and can influence this, as Dan Connor and Russ Milton go in to talk to the players, and Steve Cottrell giving a few signals from the director's box away to my left. But you know, that chat that he had with Dan Connor and then was able to be relayed to the players, how valuable was that Rovers didn't take their time, didn't panic, they took their time, they made sure the messages got delivered. And Forest Green so far in extra time, whether it's the mini pre-season, the fitness training, has been really good.
Yeah, you can hear the PA just going, blasting out last 15 minutes of football here in we could probably say one of the biggest games in Europe tonight. It probably will be the biggest game as we're approaching full time in the Europa League final, Paul.
Yeah, 10 minutes of stoppage time played in Bilbao. It's still Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. So 100 minutes played there. We've had 105 minutes here officially. Interestingly, Dan Connor and Adam May talking to each other. Steve Cottrell screaming into his earpiece to give Dan Connor the message to give to Adam May. And it is now full time in Bilbao. Tottenham have beaten Manchester United by a goal to 0. Tottenham will be in the Champions League next year, having won the Europa League. Substitution here for Southend United. Joe Gubbins has come on, and Billy, I've got no idea who's gone off for Southend.
A Southend player is not going to be featured in the last 15 minutes of the game as Southend make that change. Still no change for Forest Green. 15 minutes of football, they're leading by 2 goals to 1. Now is the biggest game in Europe, well, definitely in England, as it's full time. Tottenham win the Europa League final. Forest Green kicking off, going from right to left towards the south stand. They absolutely chocker south stand there. Cardwell search can't be found. Forest win the second ball through Circum. And this is where the pre-season and the fitness, think about those runs they're doing in July as Cardwell falls to the floor. He's hurt something then, I think, when he got a bit of a piggyback. All the work and fitness works for now. 120 minutes of football is going to be played today, plus as Robson intercepts that ball out extent of a Southend throw.
And Charlie McCann's had a challenge followed through onto him, and that has hit Charlie McCann on his shin, probably just below the shin pad on his right leg. McCann's in agony. Dan Connor sends the referee, "Ref, why haven't you blown up for that? And why haven't you blown up?" Russell Milton is looking round, A, at Steve Cottrell, but B, at the fourth official. And actually, Charlie McCann was caught late there. The player who's gone off, by the way, was Tom Hopper, replaced by Joe Gubbins.
Throwing for Southend in the Forest Green half. Scott Morris with a little 1-2, linking up well with Appiah Forson. If I'd had a minute, you're right, it does go slow in the second half of extra time. Forest Green leading by 2 goals to 1. Southend play the ball back. Southend are going to throw absolutely everything forward shortly. What can Forest Green do at the other end and defensively? Christian Doyle still on the bench. I think now it's probably the right thing not to change things. Cardwell's playing well up front. Southend going down the left-hand side. McAllister putting a challenge in. Goes off for a Southend throw. Cardwell trotting back. Now it's probably going to be a long one. Gearing himself up with Southend. Important to win the first header, which they don't do, and this header goes over the bar for Southend thanks to a fantastic save from Cann. Forest Green didn't pick up the second ball. I think it might have been Walker onto it, 6 yards out. It was probably going to dip, and Cann heroically tipped the ball over the crossbar for the corner.
Well, the flick on worked perfectly for Southend, didn't it? Walker on the end of it, and Ted Cann, he is a big fella as well. He's 6'7". He towers over Ryan Innes. That takes some doing. He needed every inch of his frame there.
It's only the corner though for Southend. Play towards the far post. The ball goes out the penalty area. They've got a chance to break now. McCann works for McAllister. Can't be fine. McCann and McAllister, they've been on for 120 minutes or so. So McCann has a bit of a to and fro with Kevin Moore. He didn't get the ball back quickly. They were breaking like they'd just come off the bench.
Yeah, absolutely immense by those two. Forest Green with the throw-in. What Kevin Mayer is doing there, I don't know, because he's stopping Charlie McCann. All right, yes, his players need to get back, but the referee has taken no impact there, which beggars belief as well, when a manager puts the ball behind his back and stops a player taking a quick free kick and takes it away from him.
Forest Green are doing everything they can to manage the game now, frustrating Southend. Dan Connor taking his time to give the ball to Robson for the throw. 3 minutes gone here in the second half of extra time. Forest Green leading by 2-1. Forest Green inside the free kick as well. You can have Miley the perpetrator. And Forest Green are going to take a minute. You can't take the mick, can you, without just taking so much time? The referee's only going to add it on.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, isn't it? I mean, you look at the FA Cup final at the weekend. Pep Guardiola got, shirty with Crystal Palace's goalkeeper, and he just turned around and said to him, well, you had your 10 minutes. And that's the modern game these days.
Forest can take the free kick short. Back to Circum. Forest Green fans talking up Wembley, don't do that yet. McAllister goes past one man, goes towards the edge of the penalty area, opened up nicely for him, goes to the box now, back to May, we can't get the shot away, and Southend look to come away with it. They're pushed, keeping men forward. More Taylor with a great touch and finds Osadebe. He wins himself a throw-in in Forest Green's half. So the light of the Forest Green fans. They're doing well so far in this second half of extra time. Forest Green leading by 2-1 after 4.5 minutes into the second half.
Well, Kyle McAllister's energy there running at the Southend defence was like it was 4 minutes into the 90, let alone 4 minutes into the second half of extra time, and Osadebe's done very well to win the throw-in for Forest Green as well, and Rovers at the moment beginning to pen Southend back into their own half.
Cardwell by the corner flag, can he keep the ball on? He can't, he gives away a free kick, dragging Harry Taylor to the floor. Cardwell gets the time, takes a while to get the ball back. 5 minutes gone in the second half, 10 minutes of play to go. Forest Green leading by 2-1. Southend go long up the line. Big header for Moore Taylor, off for a Southend throw. The fans are kicking, heading every ball. 3 headers in the goals today, all from the head. Dan Connor listening to instructions from Steve Cottrell. Throw up the line for Southend. Off for a Forest Green throw. Bond can't control it. It's going well for Forest Green.
Well, we seem to have lost our line there. Apologies. We'll try and get back to the new lawn as quickly as possible. Somebody's obviously got excited and kicked a box they shouldn't be kicking or something. But we're back to the new lawn, home of Forest Green Rovers in just a short while, where Forest Green Rovers lead Southend by 2-1.
Wembley Stadium is England's sporting capital, and it was Sir Arthur Elvin who made it a legendary venue.
A man with whose name Wembley Stadium has become synonymous.
I'm Thordis Fredriksson, and I grew up being told Arthur was a famous relative. Now I'm delving into his extraordinary life.
He is a working class lad made good.
And exploring his 30 years running the country's greatest stadium, through its triumphs.
Elvin effectively rescues the International Olympic Committee.
And its controversies.
They had to strip her in front of the main grandstand.
The man who made Wembley. Listen to the complete series right now, only on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, one of the great sporting podcasts on BBC Sounds. Worth checking out that one, The Man Who Made Wembley. 6 minutes past 10. The line to the new lawn has just gone down. We'll get back there as quickly as possible. If you're just tuning in, maybe you've been across Spurs beating Manchester United to win the Europa League, and of course in doing so ending a 17-year wait for a trophy with that victory this evening, and the one goal of the game coming in the 42nd minute. Brennan Johnson given the goal. Was originally given as an own goal off Luke Shaw's arm, but after review they've given it back to Brennan Johnson, so he can walk away saying that he scored the goal that has won Tottenham Hotspur their first trophy in 17 years. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Manchester United 0, full-time scoreline this evening in the Europa League. Elsewhere, England's women have beaten the West Indies in the first T20 game. The new era under captain Nats Skibber-Brunt and coach Charlotte Edwards starting with a comfortable 8-wicket win in the first T20 in Canterbury. The tourists made 146 for 7 after captain Hayley Matthews' superb unbeaten century, but then England making light work of the chase. They got to the target in 16.3 overs. Sophia Dunkley making 81 not out from 55 deliveries. Very useful innings, that one, to kickstart the series. So England winning by 8 wickets, leading the series by 1-0 so far there. That's the way things have finished. Let's go back to the new lawn. I'm pleased to say the line is back. Let's rejoin Paul Furley and Billy Hunt.
Slots down. Forest Green still leading by 2-1. Apologies for the technical issues there. Didn't miss too much though. Circum had a chance with a shot, won himself a throw-in by the corner flag, but Forest Green could have had a good, decent chance inside the box there.
Yeah, nearly broke to Forest Green on the counter-attack, didn't it? And Circum being instrumental on that, getting Forest Green a set piece. What is there? 6.5 minutes to go plus stoppage time at the end of the second half of extra time. The fans applauding in the main stand around us and trying to will Forest Green to an extra time victory here this evening.
Forest Green went towards the corner. Cox said he doesn't go towards the corner. They're heading that way at the moment. Long with the free kick. Long still playing as well. 35 did you say he was? 700 games?
Liam Circum, it's not sure.
Circum, yeah.
Long needs to be a little bit younger.
Right. Foul throw by Forest Green. Not the best thing to do, but thankfully it's deep in the Southend half. 6.5 minutes of football to play in the second half extra time. Forest leading by 2-1. Osadebe finds McCann, who gets sandwiched out, and Southend come away with it. And Cardwell wins the ball back. As you know, he does so because Knowles fouls on the way. Southend pushing the men forward. Stolen a few yards on that free kick, surely. The referees are wary of it. No fans going home early tonight. Despite it being 10 past 10 on a school night. Southend go long through the keeper Hayes. Deep into the Forest Green half. Forest Green onto it now. Managed to clear, looking for Cardwell. Traces Harry, does exactly that. Going against Taylor. Taylor with a headed back. Finds the safety of his keeper. Not the best ball to his keeper, but does well to recover and get a touch forward. Circum finds McCann in space, edge of the area. Thinks about having a shot. Goes past one. Can't go past two though. Southend get the ball back and hoof the ball up the line. And they've got numbers. Forest Green to get a touch onto it. Southend going forward. Can they get the equaliser? The right hand side. Hit there with Goodlift. Back across goal. There's the shot. And there's the equaliser from Southend. Forest Green caught on the break. How did that happen as they went on forward? Tapped in from Jack Ridge with 4 minutes of extra time to go. And it's 2 apiece. How did that happen? How did Forest Green caught on the break when they're defending a lead?
It happened because Jamie Robson won the header but injured himself in winning the header and wasn't able to track Bridge, and Bridge followed it in. Southend worked it very well, got the Bridge the opportunity, and the substitute was able to finish left-footed, low, past the dive to his right of Ted Cann. And Forest Green at the moment have Adam May down as well. The physio's running onto the pitch. He's dropped a water bottle, but Adam May inside the penalty area is needing treatment. Robson's back upon his feet but was limping after the challenge, and Southend's management are calling all of their players over to them at the moment because the game won't restart while May's receiving treatment, and therefore they want to give some tactical instruction.
They had that ball with McCann, left hand side. He had good first touch, got caught in traffic, and suddenly Southend, rightly keeping men up, managed to go from one end to the other and score, and they had the number advantage. Good break from them. Could be the end of May, Bunker to coming on, and suddenly heading towards penalties. May still getting treatment. Is he going to be subbed off? I think it might be Harvey Bunker.
Yeah, he is.
And yeah, May can't continue. He's probably a penalty taker as well, it's May, but he's looking injured. So we've got 3 minutes time to go, probably a few minutes of added time also. And the game's looking like it might be finishing from the penalty spot.
And it's also looking like it might be finishing 2-2, just for a change between these two sides.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 previous league games finished 2-2.
They've been kings of the Desmond.
Number 16,
Harvey Bunker comes on for May. So momentum of that with Southend now. Do both teams shake hands for penalties? They try and find the winner, which you think there would be if the team score in the last 3 minutes. Back to Can. Played up forward to Cardwell. Cardwell ushered the ball out for a Forest Green throw. Robson with it. Knowles wants to go long. Knowles has got the long throwing option. Innes is popping up.
Bunker and Long going into the box as well.
Don't get caught on the break though, Forest Green. We've got the...
Yeah, Jordan Moore-Taylor, far too sensible for that. Stay back on halfway, Geordie.
Knowles with the long throw. Referee's having a word with a bit of pushing and shoving in the box. 90 seconds of normal time to go, an extra time. Knowles with the long throw. First header cleared by Southend. Back to Knowles. Fancy the shot, gets locked. And Southend clear for another Forest Green throw. Robson with it. If Forest Green make any more changes, thinking about penalties. Knowles back to Bunker, off the bench, the injured May.
Well, Deutsch would be the one you might think about.
McCann goes over from his man, tapped to Cardwell. Cardwell to Knowles, and it's blocked from Southend. Forest Green have finished this game on top. There's only a minute of normal time to go. Southend deep defending. Stady gets the ball away cheaply though, and Southend looks to clear up the line. They do just that, but Moore-Taylor mops up from Forest Green. Back to Innes, they're being pressed. Be careful, Ryan. Back to Can. Again, the press continues. Can launches it long. Orford is going to show his board shortly. Can's kick goes straight up for a throw. It's going to be penalties, isn't it?
Yeah, Osadebe, I think, knew that he was going to be offside, so let the ball go past him.
Southend fans there in full voice. They thought their game was over. Bridge equalised for them. Thrown for Southend in the Forest Green half. Is there going to be one final twist in this game? Robson with a pal header, goes off for another one. Throw on the halfway line. Ball officials indicating 2 minutes of time added on. If there's a goal now, it's going to guarantee the team goes to Wembley.
2 minutes of time added on.
And Southend got the ball in the Forest Green half through the Scott Morris throw. Down the line. McCann gets shoved off the ball. Bunker commits himself. Oh, that's a high boot. Referee disagrees, and the ball ricochets off for a goal kick. Comes off. Rightly called from the referee, Josh Walker last. 90 seconds. We're in added time now. Added time of extra time. 90 seconds of it to go. It's going to be a goal kick from Can. Are they thinking penalties already? It looks to be a bit of movement on the bench.
Teddy Jenks getting a shirt on.
Circum with controlling the ball. Needs options, gets the ball taken off them, but Bunker's there to recycle. Finds Robson on the right, back to McCann. Southend are keeping 2 men up here. Forrest's got to be careful, he's still got possession. And here comes Southend. How am I going to finish it on top? Southend looking to break. They're in injury time now, going forward. Go on the left-hand side. Bunker, can he put a challenge in? He can't. Southend get the ball with Bon. Bon, can he be the hero? Take Southend to Wembley and break Forest Green's hearts. Southend on the left. Still with possession. This opens up for him because the shot going to be coming with Taylor. Taylor to the right-hand side. Scott Morris. Scott Morris, the ball into the box, and it's blocked by Robson. Do Forest Green make these changes for penalties for this corner? Do they defend the corner, or do they bring on the penalty takers? They're talking to Cottrell now. Don't make the changes, defend the corner first. Oh, I hope we're back here on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. There's a bit of a technical issue, but I believe we're back. And here comes the corner, deep in extra time. Southend to take it home to Wembley. Can Forest Green clear? They can't yet. Cardwell looking to clear. McCann half clears again. And there goes the full-time whistle, and we have got penalties. Jenks and Deutsch were going to come on, but they didn't have time to make the subs, so the players on the pitch are going to be the ones making it. I thought that was a big call. That was a big call from Forest Green manager Steve Cottrell.
Well, apologies, we have lost the line there. Obviously, there's a few technical problems at the new lawn, but we've come to the end of added time and extra time, and just as the two fixtures in the National League regular season, it's finished 2 apiece. At Southend, it finished Southend 2, Forest Green Rovers 2. At the new lawn, it finished Forest Green Rovers 2, Southend 2. And here we are at the end of extra time, and it's Forest Green Rovers 2, Southend 2. That's the way it has finished so far, and of course penalties to come as and when we get our line straight back over there. If you're just joining us, this is what's taken place so far.
Welcome to a packed new lawn for what we could probably argue is the biggest game in European football this evening. It's playoff semi-final between Forest Green Rovers and Southend United. Forest Green in their home kit, the black and green zebra stripes. Southend in their blue tops and socks and their dark blue shorts. Referee today, David Rock, gets play underway. And Southend go back, and you can hear the roar around the new lawn for both sets of fans. Kick for Southend, 10 yards or so inside the Forest Green half. They push the big Ben long though. Forest get every man back, played into the penalty area. Cam thinks about coming with a good header, and it's a goal for Southend. A looping header puts them in front. Ben Goodliff with it from that free kick, went over the top of Ted Can and just dropped in the back of the net. It's Forest Green 0, Southend 1. Southend with every man back, 2-man wall. McAllister and May over it. McCann's locked on the edge of the box. Innes and Moore Taylor are the big options. Goes with McAllister, left foot towards the far post. Innes with the header, and it's in! It's in! Forest Green has got the equaliser. Ryan Innes, the big man, with the header, gets the new lawn rocking, and it's 1 apiece.
The referee puts his whistle to his lips.
And we're going to put our overtime sheet in, because we're going to have half an hour more football as it finishes. Forest Green Rovers 1, Southend 1. 2 goals from defenders, headers from both teams. Ralph, not the best defensive header. McAllister gets onto the end of it. He's got a man on him, goes to the right hand side. Trap it there, but somehow finds Surkham in the penalty box. Clips it with his right foot towards the far post. Cannot save again the header. It's scrambled in with Forest Green. Manios and David in extra time puts his team in front. Fresh off the bench. Celebrates in front of the Southend fans. And early on in extra time, Forest Green come from behind and lead by 2 goals to 1. Numbers. Forest Green to get a touch onto it. Southend going forward, coming at the equaliser on the right hand side. Here there with Goodliff, back across goal. There's the shot, and there's the equaliser on Southend. Forest Green caught on the break. How did that happen as they went on forward? Tapped in from Jack Ridge with 4 minutes of extra time to go, and it's 2 apiece.
So that's what's happened so far. 2-2 at full time of added time and extra time. That's where we've got to. We've lost our line to the new lawn via BBC Radio Gloucestershire. I'm going to join our colleagues at BBC Radio Essex for the penalties.
Kevin Mayer giving a wave to friends and family, I guess, in the stand, and it's taking a right to this moment. A penalty shootout will be taken to our right in front of the north stand at the new lawn. Then Pennyfeather. Josh Walker stepping up first very quickly. What's he been saying? What did you say to players in this scenario?
Listen, whenever you get that, you've got your penalty tags. I'm sure they've been practicing. One thing I always got told: never change your mind. Make your mind up. Take your penalty. Stick the ball where you've decided to put it. We're going to see, is Nick Hayes going to be the hero for Southend United tonight?
First up, Josh Walker for Southend. Up against Ted Can. It'll be right-footed, and it's saved by Ted Can. He aimed for the bottom left corner, and Can guessed correctly. Southend missed their first penalty of the shootout, and who's going to step up next? The former Blues man, the top scorer last season, Harry Cardwell.
Wasn't the best penalty, you have to say that, from Josh Walker. Low down to the right, not really in the corner. It was a decent save by Ted McCann, not the best penalty in the world by Josh Walker.
Harry Cardwell to step up for this one. He's had his troubles at Forest Green Rovers since he moved. He steps up. It'll be right-footed. Hayes dancing on the ground. A little shimmy and a step and into the right corner from Harry Cardwell. Nick Hayes went left, but Cardwell stuck to his guns, and he has found the net against Southend this season. It's come in this penalty shootout. Forest Green leading 1-0.
Yeah, decent penalty from Cardwell, to be fair. Lots of power behind it. Sent Nick Hayes the wrong way, opened his body up, went into the right-hand side of the goal. As you look, decent penalty from Cardwell. Jack Bridge and his bright red boots. Scored penalties this season already, the latest in the FA Cup against League One Charlton Athletic. Right-footed, left corner, brilliant from Jack Bridge, brimming with confidence, back to his best. Yeah, good penalty from Jack Bridge. Just lifted it, didn't he, over the dive of McCann. He chose the right way again, the goalkeeper, but Jack Bridge just lifted the ball enough into the side netting, really, way to the left-hand side of the goalkeeper as you look.
Tom Knowles to step up next. Nick Hayes taking his time. He's behind the net at the moment. I'll be looking at his water bottle. Tom Knowles last scored back in October for the Green Army. Be another right-footed one, and it's off the crossbar. It ricochets off the crossbar. Nick Hayes blows his cheeks out, and Southend celebrate. 1 penalty scored each, 1 penalty missed.
Yeah, I thought he looked a little bit nervous walking up. Tom Knowles, it was a slow walk. He put the ball down, stepped back, and he's gone for power, but just lifted the ball far too high. Cannons off the crossbar on a way to safety. Nick Hayes hasn't had to make the save, but it's level 1-1. Joe Gubbins stepping up.
His last start for Southend came in the win against Oldham back at the end of March. Came on for a cameo against Rochdale last week. Now he steps up for the 3rd penalty of the shootout for Southend. This will be left-footed into the right corner. Tom Hupper on the bench would have been proud of that one, and the Southend fans delight as they're back in the lead in the shootout.
Wonderful pen, Joe Gubbins. It's all about being confident as a penalty taker. If you're out there and you want it, you step up and go, yeah, I'll have it, being confident. And Joe Gubbins, well, he looked pretty confident, didn't he? And he's whipped the ball across the face of the goalkeeper into the right-hand side of the goal as we look low down into the side netting. Great penalty from Joe Gubbins. Pressure back on Forest Green.
Charlie McCann steps up, the former Manchester United and Rangers youth man. Ever so impressive for Forest Green this season. 11 goals. He steps up against Nick Hayes for the 3rd penalty for Forest Green. Right-footed into the top left corner. He's shown his experience there. Cool as you like. And it's brought them back level 2 all again after 3 penalties each.
Yeah, got his hand to it, didn't he? Got a little bit on it, to be fair, Nick Hayes, but just lifted it enough, McCann, to beat the hand and nestle in the net to the left-hand side, of the goalkeeper.
Macaulay Bonn for penalty number 4. A man who has worked his socks off to get Southend here. It'll be a straight run-up for him. Right-footed. And it takes a deflection off the left upright and into the net. Now that was a heart-in-your-mouth moment, but it does nestle into the net.
Oh, I'm not sure about them straight run-ups. He drove the ball with his laces, didn't he? I think he got fingertips to it, I think, McCann, as it's cannoned in off the inside the post, rolls around the net. Give Blues the lead again. Pressure back on Forest Green Rovers. Liam Sercombe.
Not a single Southend fan in their seat. Forest Green fans to my left, all standing, some to my right as well. Liam Sercombe standing up for them. Takes a deep breath. Right-footed, and it's over! He's skied him massively! He holds his hands to his head! And is this it? Is this the moment for Southend United?
Well,
some have already walked out.
It would be.
And guess who's stepping up for it?
I was going to say it would be fitting, wouldn't it? The man of this season for Southend United, Gus Scott Morris.
Penalty shootout stands at 3-2 with Southend to take. If he scores this,
Blues to Wembley.
He's sending Southend United to Wembley. Kevin Mayer can't look to my left. Mark Bentley with hands on his head.
Come on,
Southend standing. Scott Morris right.
Yes!
Just listen to that!
He's just been tackled by a supporter as well.
Southend fans on the pitch. It is over now because Southend United are marching all the way to Wembley. The first team to finish 7th in the National League to make it to Wembley for the playoff final, and they have booked a date with Oldham Athletic and a chance to return to the English Football League for the first time in 4 years. Gus Scott Morris with the winning penalty to send Southend stratospheric with celebration. As the hills are rocking again in Cotswold, Southend will be singing all through the night. Glenn Pennyfather, this season, it's gone. I said it.
So that's the way it's finished at the New Lawn this evening. It is Southend who are off to play Oldham at Wembley, not Forest Green Rovers. So the two sides that had those preliminary playoff games to go into these semi-finals are the sides that are going to be playing at Wembley. It's gone down to penalties. Forest Green Rovers seeing Tom Knowles' penalty hitting the crossbar and Liam Sercombe's going over the crossbar. Southend, just with that first penalty saved, means that it's Southend who go through 4-2 on penalties after it's finished 2-2 at the end of extra time. That's the way it is finished at the New Lawn, and of course reaction to come tomorrow morning on your breakfast shows.
John Smith at breakfast. Jack from Cirencester's been starring in the breakfast show. He runs a gym which is mostly in the dark. Why?
People are scared and intimidated by going to big commercial gyms, really bright lights, loads of mirrors. That was me when I was about 15, 16, very nervous and shy. I thought, why not just take that all away?
Yeah, why do they always have loads of mirrors? Well, anyway, his classes sound great and he's invited the team along. Mark, what do you reckon? Could you have a go at one of the classes that's almost in the dark?
I think it would be perfect. We met playing tennis actually. So,
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Jack beat me quite comprehensively, so I might do better in the dark.
All right. John Smith at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
This has been Match Night on BBC Radio Gloucestershire. Thank you very much for your company over the past 3.5 hours. Just so sad that it wasn't the results that we were hoping for this evening. Forest Green Rovers will be playing their football in the National League next season. They try again. It's Southend United who go to play Oldham at Wembley. Goals from Ryan Innes and Manny Osadebi from Forest Green Rovers have put them 2-1 up. Jack Bridges' equaliser with 3 minutes of normal time to go of extra time. Took it to penalties. Harry Cardwell, Charlie McCann scored their penalties. Tom Knowles hit the crossbar. Liam Sercombe shot over. And that's the potluck that is penalty shootouts. Thanks for your company this evening. We'll cross you back over to the late show as normal this evening. Your next live sport a week on Saturday. We're with Gloucester Rugby on the final day of the season.